All right, what's up, team? How's it going? Tuesday morning. Let's get into it then. Let's get straight into it. We are returning into range. You can see the chop. We're going to have to adjust some of these levels because we've moved to the new contract. All right. Let's just flip these over. There we go. That's going to be great for now. All right. We're coming right back into the chop zone, unfortunately. That's what we're doing. All right. So we broke away from it last week. We're returning in. It's still got a chance to reject. You can see we based here. All right, over, under, look above's failed, look below's failed. And the question is, are we in another look below and fail for a reclaim? Or are we going to resell this back down? We're about to find out, I'd say, in the next few days. All right, so this is an important level as we travel back in up to sort of 25,050, I'd say even 25,020, 25,030 are going to be key today. And I'm going to show you why as we move in through the charts. And again, repeat, I'm in the new contract now, all right, to make it very, very clear. We are now trading the new contracts. If the prices are different to yours, it's because you haven't rolled over. All right, so here we go. Overnight, what we've seen, all right, yesterday we talked about this clear out. It finally came. They did it on the NVIDIA news, clear out and straight back down. Why? Because we're in a range, right? You want to play the edges of the range. So this was your D shape yesterday, look above, failed. After that, overnight, after they cleared out all the stops, all right, they walked it right back down and found a bid right where they started from. We talked about that yesterday, didn't we? If we start to lose 8s, we probably move to 7s. All right, there's the move to 7s. All right. We found a bid off that overnight. All right, so Asia walked us down. They find a bid with London and they go straight back upside on some positive catalyst news on the broader market this morning, which we can get into. Okay, so the question now is, are we going to be able to hold over previous day's value area high for this drive up? Are we going to pull back to the point of control, which is what I'm going to be looking for? All right, I'm looking this morning to see if we pull back to point of control because it's overlapping with previous day's value area low, anywhere into the sort of the 900s, 890s. I want to see, is price willing to hold there and then come back up for these highs? Okay, back into these highs up here. Ignore these gamma levels. They're all wrong because they haven't rolled it to the new contract, but we can get into that. But I know up here is a big gamma level into this, what is it? They pinned it at 20s, I think. Yeah, 30s, right at this high. So there's a big call wall up at this high. So I'm watching that, ties in well with resistance. So this will be the first play I'm looking for this morning. If they do the opening drive and take this out, right, I want to see if they're going to hold and go, or if they just fail this right back down into the midpoint, and then we're going to go back into yesterday's range again, and then I'll just expect chop all day. Very, very possible. All right, but that's certainly potential for a higher low and to complete that sort of cup and handle move to try and get back onto the previous week point of control that we went over yesterday. It all depends how we act when we get up there. Let me just get these off. There we go. Make this bigger for you guys. There we go. That's better, isn't it? All right, so going up into the smaller time frames, you can see we're searching for previous day high already. So again, it's a little frustrating here as a New York trader, having to just watch this thing just rip faces upside on a squeeze. All right, so really I want to be a buyer down here if possible, maybe up here. But if we complete this low-hanging fruit move, it's going to be very hard for me to pull the trigger to do anything, if I'm quite honest. If we complete this move, unless we pull back and hold this or pull back and hold this, it's going to be quite hard for me to get involved because we're going into premium prices after quite a big drive. It means we would have moved, or I don't know, almost 300 points, right, from the overnight low for that move up. It's going to be hard to join that race up there. So I want to be very, very careful about that. All right, let's have a look at the ES and spiders and everything else. Same kind of story, already ripping faces, right? Already through previous day high, relative strength. Again, set that higher low overnight. So there's your low. There's your higher low. It's coming to take out this liquidity. What happens here becomes important now. If it takes it and fails and goes straight back into range, you know, that is your chop fest, right? If it takes it and base is above, there's a re-squeeze. You'd be looking for 13s and then 70s. And if it takes it and pulls back and holds, I'd say 60s, it's still got a chance to complete the move higher. But you want to be aware that this can be a two-leg for failure. So how we operate in here all right, becomes important. All right, are we going to take the liquidity to fail, or are we taking the liquidity to base to go higher? All right, lots of uncertainty in this market right now. Let's go to spiders. I'll put the GEX levels back on here because these would be correct now. Let's make sure I set to first. Let's adjust for a second. There you go. All right, so SPY coming up into those cool walls already, like we talked about. 673s, you can see up here. So this is the base now. They might well have flipped that now. All right, and they're trying to run these stops out up here on the SPY. So if I'm trading SPY today, ideally you don't want it to run all these guys out before the open. It already looks like it has, and you'd be looking for a pullback to 670 to hold to get into 672, 673, 675. All right, that's the trade. That's the first trade. If they keep squeezing, it's going to be very hard to join, and you're probably going to have to look for that trade back down, which is the hardest trade in the book. But that's kind of what you're at. Under 670, after a clear out, that would be dangerous for the market. All right, that's when we'll be thinking about this being a two leg, which has failed. If they start losing 670, we'll be looking for downside pressure. All right, so over unders right now. QQQ is going to be exactly the same, basically. Here's the move up. So really you want dips to hold 601. So we've reclaimed the 600. Remember, this was resistance. This is now possible support. That's our over under. It's been our over under for as long as I can remember now, the 600s. So as long as we don't take this out in the morning drive, if there's a pullback first, you're looking to see if we hold 601s, 600s, and then complete this move to take that liquidity. If we start losing 601s, just like on the ES, especially if they take the liquidity higher and then lose the 600s, 601s, again, two-leg pullback, failure, head and shoulder kind of move, downside pressure. All right, so this level here is key. The 600s remains key. Nothing's changed. It's been key for a long time now. All right, let's go through the mag. Apple, slight gap up there, same kind of story, trying to get its second leg higher. I'd be watching Apple into this chunk here, sort of 54s, 55s, and then 56s, right? So see if it comes up here and fails and comes back down, or if it reclaims this and is able to base for the day. That will become important, how we operate when we get up there. Amazon, all right, that's on a bit of a ripper there. So it came back down. Remember, this had relative weakness for a long time. All right, there's your sort of pivot above this. We went over this yesterday, starting to come back into this chunk. If it can base up here for a while, it's got a shot to try and get back up. That's the question for Amazon right now. It looks strong. It's a strong move. Goog came out with news this morning. I see some positive news there, and it's starting to move off that. A slight gap up on it. Again, you'd be looking for PDC to hold on Goog. All right, if we're going to get that continuation, it's going to need to hold PDC, but nice move pre-market. Meta, same kind of story. That's a big gap up on Monday, or a sizable gap up. That's probably a 50% pullback, starting to hold. So as long as they hold that pullback and leave this gap open, the gap and go higher time frame is still available. So as long as they leave that gap open, they need to get through 630s, take out 635s for that lift up. So you don't really want to see it come back underneath 22s here. Otherwise that gap's going to be closed. Microsoft, trying to find a bid. All right, it is trying to find a bid. Remember, I'm still long in this name from down here. All right, trying to see if this bid will hold. All right, so there's your second leg. This is the kind of danger zone that we talk about. See how we do a second leg? It's got to hold this and get going. Otherwise, failing to hold 95s, and we'll probably make new lows at that point. So it must hold 95s in softy to get going to the upside. If it can hold it, it's got lots of room. If this market suddenly wants to find a bid this year, all right, it's got lots of room. Remember, we've done a ginormous pullback. If we can hold 95s and get over 420s, all right, well, then we probably should visit up here again, which is why I'm positioned long in it at the moment. But I will cut if we start to lose the bid and then look to re-add lower. Nvidia, swipe up on the press conference yesterday. All right, it was hard to understand what he was saying. We're going to make $1 trillion, and then you look at the numbers he said in that versus the forecasting from before, and you're like, hang on a minute, you just said a big number, but you're actually advising down, which is what happened here. Everyone was like, hang on a minute, are you just advising down but saying a big number? So we just have to see how we operate. We're still just in range. So at the moment, that's a look above and fail. That's all that is. That's a liquidity sweep and fail. So can we get back above some of this to base now to come clean out the highs? If we can really get moting on Nvidia, but doesn't look too good to me. It just looks like a big range with lots of people caught now. Tesla, same story. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed in there. All right, it's still holding on to the 390s, 380s. Still not able to find acceptance above 400s to get back up to 420s, which is where it's trying to go. No interest in that at all. Look at some of the software names. What are they doing this morning? Still just basing out. So given this whole move back on Oracle, all the way back down on earnings, can it hold above this? Otherwise, it's going to go gap fill down into 150s again. So Oracle, they will try and find a rebid, I would imagine, as long as software starts to find a bid. Let's have a look at Netflix. Still not come in enough for me yet, I don't think. Nowhere near enough. So I'm still waiting to see if we can get down into any of these for me to rebuy it. So hopefully get a second leg down and I can rebid. I am long, again, I'm long from down here, folks. And that's kind of it. Hood, same kind of stories, leaving that gap open. Still long in this. From this first move, sold a chunk into this, but we're still just building out liquidity here. It doesn't look too great, to be honest. Glad we sold some in that first pump. All right. Get back into the contract. So right up towards that wall that we talked about, that first call wall into sort of the 18s. Above that, we have room. We have another 50 points higher. You can see failing previous day high. So this morning, there's a couple moves here. A look above and fail for this wash back down if you want to trade the short, and then back down into this area here. I'm interested in bidding off. And if we come back down into here, I'm interested in trying to bid off that area. So because we're up so high, I will consider a look above and a failure for that move back down. But I have to be cognizant of we're very, very squeezy and bullish this morning. So it's going to have to take liquidity out and trap players for me to have any interest in this at all short side. And I will watch QQQ because the only gamma I can really get is really on the Qs while we're in the rollover. So I'll be watching 604, 605 for QQQ. All right. And I've got to reset my footprint here. Uh-oh. Having a technicals just before the open here. Got no chart at all. Great. Make sure that's showing me the right price. There we go. That's better. I'm worried there for a second. All right, so let's see if we get a morning pop-up, clear the liquidity and failure, or if they're just going to dunk it out the open down here. So I'm willing to be a buyer down here. If we look above and fail and come back under, I'm willing to be a seller down to that point. That's as simple as I can put it right now. There's the flush back down to previous day high, previous day value area high, sorry. They're already bidding off that. I want to see if they're going to clear out here this morning. So we do have divergence. ES has already taken previous day high. Most of the mag green, other than Tesla and Apple here this morning. Let's see what happens. Giving this a moment to shake out. I'm certainly not bidding at previous day value area high. Not on the opening drive when we've moved like 300 plus points higher. 315 points, 320 points now higher. There's no way I'm bidding here for the squeeze up. I'll just let this complete the squeeze and then see how we act. Remember, it's rollover, folks, so people still moving from the old contract onto the new, so order flow is going to be a little bit harder to read. That's why I hate trading this week, and as a general rule, my least favorite week to trade. There's only 4 of these a year. If you've come in here late saying, what's the move? you're going to get ignored. I've just talked about what I'm looking for the last 15 minutes. So I advise you rewind and get yourself organized in future. Yes, above previous day high. SPY coming into that 673. It's got 675 above if it can get moving. Video back to the 5-day morning wash, and looks like it's seeing some absorption down there straight away on the tape to try and reclaim VWAP. And they're going to try and take out previous day high here by the looks of it. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get that move up to previous day high, and then we can see if we have a look above and fail or not. And it looks very squeezy. And previous day high coming. And then above that, we've got room. SPY into a big wall here. 73s. I think QQQ 604 and then 605, like we talked about. So previous day high now taken. See if they can squeeze a little bit more here and lift it up. And then we'll see whether they're going to base above here. Lots of buyers coming in at these 55. So I'm looking for the look above and fail at this point. If this is it, this will be interesting what they want to do up here. This is a big level. Big buyer just came in at 50s. And if he gets paired off, we're going to move downside pressure. If he doesn't and he holds and they base, we're going to make the move to 25,200. So watching to see if they do a look above and fail here. They are adding lots of liquidity higher into 80s still at the moment. I'm going to mark off that 50. It's a big level. So he just traded back into 50 and held. We start losing 50 and we start losing 44s. Certainly if we start losing previous day high, I'll think about the trade back downside if they've trapped enough buyers up here on the morning drive. And SPY looks like it still wants to try and get up to 675. So you can see we keep testing the 50. It's where that big buyer came in this morning on that last pop-up. All the time they're holding 50s, they're bullish. Watching this now. If we let go of this at 45s, I'm interested in a trade back down. So that's where the sellers last came in as 45. So if we let go of 45, I'm interested in the trade back down to 10s and then see what happens. So far, still holding 45, still holding 50s. And then 605 QQQ looks like what it's trying to reach for. So they're going to go for a bit higher here into 605. So maybe we go 100s. So still holding. Buyers still comfortable. Sellers at 645 not let out yet. Buyers still comfortable over 50s. They're looking for the squeeze higher. QQQ 605, huge level, folks. Huge level, okay? We're very, very close. We just hit 604.91 and pull back off it. So a bit of front running into it. The 20-day moving average is just above that 605. So that will have completed the mean reversion trade as well. Off the lower Bollinger Band back to the 20-day, everything's pretty tight at the moment. Okay, 50s again here, still watching 50s and 45s. I'd rather we came up into 605 on the Qs first. So we had no reason to move higher. But watching that, if we start to lose 50s and 45s, I will be interested in the sell back down. Until that point, leaving it alone, it can squeeze as high at once. I want to see if SPY pulls back and holds 673 here. That would be pretty bullish for the spiders if they do that. So still running 605s. Seller coming in here, so far getting absorbed in front of 50s. So buyers still absorbing the tape at 50s and 45s here. Nothing to do here. If they're going to keep absorbing, they can keep squeezing, they can keep doing silliness. They can do whatever they want. Not going to fight the tape. If they want to lift this higher, they can lift it higher. We're now 390 points up, almost 400 points up since the previous day close. They've got potential to pull back and hold this area now because it's a higher time frame pivot, but we will see. I think they're going to have to do a move much lower than that. Okay, here's the 45 check. So 50 and 45, I'm watching this. If they're going to stay heavy here, I'm interested in the short. They're going to have to get under this and stay heavy. Do not like that they didn't take out 605 yet on the Qs. It's very, very dangerous. Okay, observing this again, absorbed 50 again. So seller is trying to sell 50. Buyers are still trying to hold that. They know under 45 we get very, very thin very, very quickly in that opening drive up. So it's a big level for them to try and hold right now. I will not get sell side until we let go of 45. It's going to have to show me under 45, and I'm not going to add heaviness until we start showing under 35 is staying heavy. Why 35? Because it's value area low on the current session and it's previous day high. In fact, let's get some volume on here before we forget. There we go. Okay, so into 45s. Sellers trying to come in here to get the wash lower. It's still being absorbed here. Once they let go of this and let go of 35, there's a bigger move. But until then, they can keep trying to absorb here, which is what they're attempting to do. I'm not going to play this long up here. For me, I'm ignoring the long up here. It's too risky without a considered pullback. If they're just going to go on a squeeze day, that's okay. I will just ignore that trade like I talk about. I'm happy to bid on this market right down here. These have got to come off. Oh yeah, you might be right. Includes the contract change. Well, we're still 300 points up since the low. The Globex low, 3 a.m. or whenever it was, traded down into 730. We're now trading 25,070, so it's still well over 300 points. So there's been no pullback. If you look at the last 2 hour candles, we're 250 points up on the last 2 hours. No pullback on those 2 hour candles. Like I said, if they want to keep pumping to 25,100 or 25,200 for the naked point of control, they can. I'm certainly not buying up here for that squeeze up. They can do it all they want. I'd rather have sellers get trapped and buy for the squeeze up rather than buy the highs. Okay, coming into 605 again, QQQ getting stuck. So just fell shy of it again, 5 cents shy there on the QQQ. The reason I'm looking at QQQ today is because I'm having to watch the levels on the ETFs because the levels as we've rolled over are all messed up. This is one of the advantages of being able to play an ETF. So they're still basing and holding above 55s and 45s. There's no short trigger until we leave this volume. This right here, 45 is still the level. It's been the level all morning. Under 45s, all right, there's probably a snap down. If we leave 45s, we'll test this. And if we leave that, we'll test this. We leave that, we'll test this. And then this, and then this. So I'm looking to see if they offer a short under here. And I'll be aggressive with taking profit and stops if they do that. If they don't offer the short and they keep squeezing up to here, that's fine. It will do that move without me. I'm not willing to be a buyer up here. It's just for me personally. I know the momentum's lifting, but it's just asking a lot. You're asking to get hit. So it's still there, absorbing the tape here. Still trying to move it higher at the moment. Buyer's still soaking up. Still can't get through the 605 QQQ. Here's right back to 55s again. So 55s now VPOC on this session. 45s is the big level. Out in your QQQ calls, 604.8, and I think that's good. It's a really good move. You're right into that top call wall. If they get acceptance through that, you'll get a squeeze. It's a good move. All right, here's the 55s. Here's the 45 check. I'm watching this level. If we start letting go of it for a sell, all right. If they trap underneath, it is what it is. I want to see if we can come back. And I'll get heavy if we start letting go of previous day high. All right, if we start letting go of all of this, I'll get very, very heavy. This moment still protecting 45s. There's bids down at 35s and 25.10. So they're still protecting 45s here. Still trying to hold the edge of this range for their move up. to do. Just let this shake out. And if they pin it and chop it here all day, well, it's really nothing I can do. Right, ES soaking off VWAP. ES doesn't feel like it's done at all. Mag now all green. Tesla 0.40% up, Nvidia 1/3% up, Microsoft over 0.5% up, Meta 1.35% up, Google 0.28% up, Amazon 1% up or just over, Apple now gone green as well, 0.5% up or over 0.5% up. Top side of this range again, you can see we're just going from one side to the other, one side to the other. So it will probably break because we've done that move many times now. They should just like lift this higher and come and get that 605, which they keep looking for on the cues. And over that, there's probably a squeeze, and then we'll see if there's a failure. If they want to keep ripping this, this will be the target today. If they're just going to base and rip, they're going to try and get all the way up into here. It will just be a trade that I won't take. Just based on the hourlies, I will not be trying to buy the breakout high here to get into a naked point of control. I'm happy to bid this right back down into these levels for that rotation, but I'm certainly not buying up here. So back to VPOC, 55s. There's a big spot away. VIX into a negative gamma area under 22.5s right now. So VIX can keep falling here. It can come right back down into 21s if it can't reclaim 22.50s. And that will increase the squeeze potential in this market. Still they're basing. Building out liquidity for that next leg higher by the looks of it to me. And they got guys up at 100. Yeah, 100 looks like the liquidity above. So in towards 605 again, QQQ. Still no trade here for me this morning. Not going to trade this long. Do what it wants. Yeah, VIX. Most things are expiring this week. That's exactly the issue. All right, they're trying to get to that 605 tag, failing up there again. Tried to tap into it, failed again. Still no trade here. Again, there will be nothing for me until we come under 45. You can see 605 on QQQ is being sold into. Every time they get up there, they're selling. They're front running it. High of day right now on QQQ, 604.95. They keep front running that 605. Here we go, back into 55. So VBOC, again, nothing's changed here, just a range. Until we come under 45s, there's no trade for me. And I need to be very aware now that they can do the old trap underneath, all right? If they want to be nasty, they can do one of these very quickly. So I'm going to have to be really careful if I'm going to take that breakdown short, and I'm not going to get heavy until we get under here and here. And then I'll consider getting heavier. Really, I'd love it down into some of these to then long back up for that move. I'd love to take that short down there, the counter trend short, to get long back up for this move here. It might not give it to me, which is all right. All right, opening range now set. White lines on your screen. And they come back to the top side again. Are they going to try and get a breakout finally? ES dangling on VWAP here, trying to hold its New York VWAP. Here comes the high day break. There's the break. There's 605.03s now tagged on QQQ. Now the question is, can they go 100? And we see if they leave excess up here on this drive, and if we then turn around or not. If they can't hold this break, they're going to be in trouble. Imagine they want to get up into 100. There's lots of liquidity sat up there right now. Good hold of VWAP on ES. Here goes the squeeze. Let's see if they go to 100s. Like I said, the setup was there for you if you really wanted it. It's just not something I'm looking to trade. I will not trade a squeeze which is already extended. Here comes the hundreds, through the hundreds now. The question is now, do pullbacks now base over that range we've just made? And if so, they will try and get all the way up into this previous week point of control. And this kind of move is often what we get in the rollover weeks, which is why I'm like, I would rather leave it alone and trade what I know works. I'm not going to like force my way into stuff. And it looks like SPY wants 675, like we talked about. So Q's now putting in new levels. Now they're looking for 607s, 609s, which will be right up here. And if you want to trade this, that's on you. But like for me, there's no way after breaking out like this, with this kind of extension, I'm buying bids up here. I just will not do it. I'd rather leave the trade alone than even attempt to do that. Like I said, it might well come up all the way to 200s today. It really would not surprise me. I will watch this now on that move back into 77s to see how we act. Holding the hundreds now. Under 95, it would probably wash to 80s. If we go back into that opening range with a topside blow off, I'll still watch this for failure. But you would now, if you're adamant on being long, you'd want this to hold. All right, and you'd want any pullback there to hold, and you'd look for that rotation here. The sell, again, will not be until we come under that. Unless you're trying to like time this for this move here so you can peel some off. But I'd say until it lets go of 95, you can't do that. If it lets go of 95, there's probably a move into 75. But you're talking about 20 points, as you know. I don't trade for 20 points. You bought the course last night. How do you connect to the Discord? Go to the end of the course, my friend. All you see is jargon. Really. Really nothing actionable. Okay, Carl. So I'll pretend yesterday that we didn't call that 100-point short together, that I didn't give you that long off the IB rotation, that I didn't give you the pullback long. You know, you must be right. That must be why you keep turning up. So let's make this easy for you rather than you distracting me. When I'm saying what's possible each day, when I'm watching real price action, if I'm jargon, you, my friend, will not be coming back here. And we'll make that real simple. Didn't work out too well for you, did it? Goodbye. That was easy. Not going to even react. Yeah, he's gone and he won't be coming back. Amazing. Okay, so holding the hundreds, new liquidity being built out here. Like I said, this thing can keep squeezing if it wants to, and I will ignore it. There's no way I'm trading the upside. So if that's jargon for you, I'm sorry. But if this wants to come up to the naked point of control up here into 200s after a giant move from 700s, all right, that would be 8-4. Don't move that. All right, from the 7 pivot, if we're going to move all the way up here for a 500-point squeeze without a notable pullback this steep, I will leave it alone. It's just some basic rules for me. No way I'm trading extensions that big. And if you don't understand that, that's not on me, that's on you. Okay, watching how we act at 95s here. And if we lose 95, I will consider putting a small piece on for the move down to 75, but I will not get heavy in this market until we lose 45. So here's the move to 95s. Is that the jargon for you? 95 still being absorbed. Why? Because there's a buy there early in the day. That's why I'm watching 95. That's not jargon, it's a number. Incredible. If he was here 2 days, I don't understand how he can even say that. It's absolutely annoying. Let it go, Alex. Focus on you. Right, if we let go of 95, I'll consider a short down to 75. Very small size because it's counter trend, but it would just give me a prime position. So here's the move to 95. Value area high currently 90. I think there's a move down here under 95 to 75 if they let go of 95, which they keep tapping into. So watching for the sell here down to 75 if they let go of it. And then if they hold 75, I'll just cut. And we currently have a buyer trapped at 110 and above. Right, here's the move from 95. Watching this very carefully if we're going to wash. Still seeing some absorption here at 95. All right, got a little guy on here at 95. Let's see if we can move to 75 and then see if we let go. I'm not going to give it room. I'll give it to 102s. Here's the move. Here's the jargon for you. Okay, here's the move back down to 75. And we'll see if we find acceptance under 75, under the opening range. And if we do, we're going to move down to 45. Otherwise, we're going to cut it. I understand, man. I find it so offensive when I'm talked to like that, when I'm here trying to teach. I really do. It really does get under my skin. Really shouldn't let these fucking moronic teenagers have an influence. Yes, like I said, I'm in short at 95, risking 105, looking for the move to 75, small size, and I will add heavy if we break 45. I've said it all like 5 times now, so please just listen to what I say, please. If they're going to trap and go here, or just cut it, because we're revisiting 95, then they're going to need to stay heavy here at 95. Here's the 95 test. If they lift this 105, I'll take it off. Buyers are currently stuck at 109s and above. And I'm just really positioned here small to see, you know, if we let go of 70s and if we let go of 60s and if we let go of 45s, there's going to be a big wash, and I'm going to be positioned 50 points above it where I can then add in heavy under 45. But we're not necessarily expecting that. You know, we're positioned here. All the move down to here. And if we let go of this, we will get the move down to here. All right, any of these will then be the targets. And I will add heavy under here. Until that point, I'm very, very light because this can be a pullback. And if they reclaim, they can finish this rotation. At the moment, we're not even letting it come down to the 75 check. So back towards these 95s again. If we start absorbing here, I'll probably just take it off. Thanks, Blitz. Very kind of you. Yes, still absorbing on VWAP. So here's a 95, 105. About to take this off here. Taking it off there. So only got a little piece off into 75. Didn't even get down there. Got into 80. And just let this ride out now. We're going to test this buyer at 110. So I'll still be looking for the same trade. But if we get above this buyer at 110, there's a re-squeeze. The biggest delta in the day is at 110. So there's buyers stuck above one or at 110 and above right now. So I will watch that and observe that if we can't get through it. But feels like the squeeze is on at the moment. They just want to lift and lift. But if we come back under 95, I'll consider the short again. If they just want to lift, there's not going to be a lot I can do about it. I'd want it to be long this morning, but not up from this high. Am I looking at 75 for the top of the shelf? Yeah, exactly. This right here. So this can be a support system. All right. So we were looking for 95. There's a buyer stuck at 110. Right. There's a buyer stuck here. We're looking for the 95 fail into this support system. Right. I was looking to cover into here and then wait to see if we would do this move here. So I'm just trying to position. We're not. They've rebid. If they get through 110, they'll re-squeeze the whole thing. Why 110? Because that's where the biggest buyer today is. He's currently caught, right up here. You see him, 109. This is where 95, right? The two buyers, 95, 109s. So if we come back under 95 again, I'll consider the same move we played first time round, with a move back down to 75. So we're under 95 now, watching to see if we get aggressive. Really, I want to tap back in to be sold rather than just come into this pivot because they can still trap. Blitz, very kind of you. So we're doing the 95, 110 rotation at the moment where the buyers are stuck. I'm tempted to get a little piece on here again. Very, very risky. Yeah, still holding very comfortably. It looks like SPY wants 675. And we're still basing over 605 on the Qs. Have they put any new levels in yet? All right, 95's watching this same level again. Still feels pretty bullish to me at the moment. It might just be a squeeze day. At the moment, it feels very much like a squeeze day, like they're not going to give any form of pullback that would get me interested. All right, sellers coming in here at the lows at 90s. Small piece back on here versus 95s. Just seen that seller come in at 90s. I want him to stay in the money. See if we can get 75s and then let go. Here we go. Here's 75 finally. So if we can get under 75, we get the move to 60. I do not really want them to lift above 90s, certainly not above 95s. So I'm in short again. And see if we can get down into 60s now. We're going to have to let go of 75, the shelf, to get down into 60s. And under 60s, we can start washing under 45s. I will add heavier in this market if we do this move here. All right, I will only add heavy when we get under all of that. Until that point, I won't be adding heavy. Yeah, news, and you're right, news top of the hour. I don't think it will be a huge shaker today, pending home sales. But you never know. All right, ES into VWAP. Still in this short. Let's see if we can rotate this. Remember, big old move higher so far. Without really retesting any of these levels in a New York session. Still bidding 75s for now. So if you are in this, I'd move your stop in for the news in case they do a swipe. Anything above 110 will cause a re-squeeze. Really, you want this to stay heavy versus that seller that came in at 90. Five seconds, folks, and get the newsprint. Here's the move to 90, 95. And if they go through 110, there'll be a re-squeeze. Back to 75s again. So now we're rotating hundreds to 75s again. Doing these little 20, 25 point rotations again today. If you're bullish, you'd want this to hold 75. If you're still bullish off the open, you'd want it to hold 75 for you to be looking for the squeeze. For me, I'm not. I just cannot participate as a buyer up here. Maybe this grey box. Maybe now I could participate in, but I'd much rather a deeper move. Yeah, it's just too risky to be buying up here. It's so far into premium. Okay, ES under VWAP. We're still holding that 75 shelf. Still not even tested 60s yet. What happens at 60s and 45s is what's going to really interest me for sentiment for the day, I think. guess the question is, do they want to take out, where's that pivot from? Thursday the 12th. Do they want to take out 140s first? So what I'm trading at the moment is probably one of the hardest trades you can take, trying to take the counter trend trade back in. But it's because it's given me no option. If I was at my desk at 6 a.m. this morning, I'd be long. I'd be long in that flag, or that inverse head and shoulder. It would be very, very nice. That was the area to long from. Right down here. Right, if I was here for this, and that's your long trigger. I'm not going to join long up here. There's just no way. No way, mate. You can keep going without me if it's going to do that. All right, starting to rebase here. Got to be very careful here. We're still doing that rotation, 100 to 75, 100 to 75. All the time they're holding 75, they can keep soaking this for the move higher. But I'm still in this short. I like that buyers are trapped over 110s, but very, very aware that this is building out a flag that can start breaking higher soon. And they've built two shelves here. I'm not going to get heavy in this, and I'm not going to be committed to the sell hard until we're under 45. I want to make that clear. Here's 75s again. So let's see if we can get down into 60s. ES now under VWAP. So we're positioned really well for this. I want to get under 75s. I want to come and test 60s. And then if we get under 45, I'll consider adding. Here we come. Here's the 60s. So if you want to TP some out here, you can. I'm only in small, so I'm not going to TP any out this time round. I'm going to look to see if we break 45s and stay heavy, and I'm going to sell if we stay heavy. So here's the 60 tag. So it's point control here, VWAP, and I will add if we stay heavy and rotate under this, or add for this move down. I'm also very aware that they can soak there for that move back up. So if you want to TP some here, if you took the 95s, this is a good area to TP, as is this. I'm going to look for this move. I'm just trying to position myself for the bigger move today if they're going to do it. If they don't do it, it's okay. That's what I'm trying to position myself for. Here we go. ES starting to let go. Really good. Bit of absorption here into 60, as we would expect into the top of this grey box. So we want to be careful. 60 and 45s. Once we let go of 45s, I think we can have some fun. Shame about that idiot in chat who thinks I'm talking jargon. He's just not willing to learn the basic principles at the market. They just want me to go, buy now, sell now. It's just insane. The laziness of humans nowadays. When am I adding? Am I immediately adjusting the stop? Yeah, so if I'm adding at 45s, right, then my stop would probably be at 75s into this low volume node. Okay, so if we come down here and do this, and I'm adding here, my stop then will need to protect this shelf. And because I'll look for the rotation. If we reclaim that shelf, it means we're going straight back up. So into that low volume node, we're now using that as potential resistance. So 75s needs to stay heavy here, really. And that would mean a look above and fail of the opening range. And if you that are even just trading the orb, there's your look above and fail. It's a low volume node. All right, well, if they sell this and they sell this, we should rotate down. If they reclaim that, there's a big squeeze. So we're watching 75s carefully now. And I'll tell you, sellers came in at 80s and at 90s. And this morning, the battle took place between 49 and 50 and 59, really. 49 and 59. We're seeing some absorption start to take place from buyers on the tape here at 59s again. So they're trying to bid 59. So if we get through 75s, so be very careful about holding this. It can move very quickly upside if they start getting through 75s. Like I said, if you wanted to take some off into 60s, it was a good place to do it. I'm trying to hold for the bigger move if it's willing to do it. At the moment, it doesn't look willing. So you're through 75s now. If they now base and hold 75s, I'd probably cut this whole thing. Or certainly if they base and hold 70s, I would cut the whole thing. Is the move back to 70s. Sellers need it under 70s. If they don't see it under 70s, buyers will take control of this market. And you just saw absorption there at 70s again. So sellers need to move back under 70s here. I'm still in this short. I'm watching this very carefully, this candle right here. So we're testing the 70s because it's the top of that shelf, right? Sellers are trying to get this move down. Buyers are trying to absorb this level. I'm still positioned short, way up at 95s. ES good rejection of VWAP so far. Need spiders to come under 673s and need Qs to stay heavy at 605s. And then we've got a move. If they reclaim this, I'll be out. It's a good hold. Still in this for now because we're just doing a dance in the area. It's a good hold from buyers, this. Very impressive. Still looking for this bear flag to like break down here, but I'm trying to give it a little chance. But there's definitely been buying absorption coming around sort of 60s and 59s. We just tested where that last seller was and they successfully sold it into 80. I'm trying to give it a chance to shake out here. You can see buyers trying to defend this shelf, and then they defended the lower shelf. Right, so this is the important level now. This is our over/under. Like, remember, I will consider getting heavy underneath all of this. I'm not going to get heavy before then. Okay, testing 70s again. Come on, sellers, do it for me. Do it for me. Big seller coming in here again. So here's the midpoint to 60s. Can we get under 45s for the wash? They're trying to soak off VWAP and point of control. 70s becomes key again here. So if they retest here and stay heavy, this can happen. If they reclaim this, this would be a little scoop and a pump over this level here. So I'm watching this very, very carefully. If they want to complete the rotation to 200s, they can. I'm also watching ES into VWAP, just trying to reclaim VWAP here. So here's the pump back to 80s, where we last absorbed from sell side. I'd say I'm going to move my stop to 86 because we've got a little imbalance there. Might be a bit high, but I'm trying to give it room because I haven't really given it room. You were done before the open, yeah. Well, very nice. Those are up early enough. It's great. I mean, it's one of the disadvantages in living in Los Angeles. I mean, the 6, 7, 8 a.m. move was the move to have, which for me would have been 3 a.m. in the morning. I just can't do that. Yeah, exactly. You need to spy under 673 and under its VWAP, and it's still basing there at the moment. Nvidia now gone red, by the way. Now 0.63% down. And VIX trying to get back above 22s, 2250s. It needs to get back above 2250s for a lift to 23s, and then this market will start bleeding a bit. Still in this short. Still trying to let it work out. Not seeing very many aggressive players here. Come on. Let's go. Let's get under 45s, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. I'm trying to be patient. I'm not going to add too early. I don't want to get trapped. They're still soaking here. So if we think about the players that we had earlier in the day, we're right pinned against them. All right, we've come right back into these players who got caught earlier, these shorts. As you can see, we left a buyer trapped at 110s. We broke under the 95s. Under the 95s, we came and visited this shelf at 75. We're now visiting the bottom side of this area, the 45s, where these players from early got trapped. Once we leave 45s with conviction, we can fill in some of this imbalance. And if we start washing heavy, look how thin we are. We can come right the way down, which is why I've tried to position early. Here we go. Is the move to 50s? Can we get under this for 45s? And then can we stay heavy under 45s? Is going to be the question here. I will tell you, like, that fucking guy's bugged me. I'll be honest. It's the hardest thing because if I trade alone, I don't have that noise in my head of people telling me I'm not doing a good job, or I've been here 2 days and he doesn't do anything. There's nothing actionable. It's like, how's this action then? 95 to 45. So we're already there. There's 50 points. And if we stay heavy here, we're going to move lower. But I can't let go of it. It's just part of me. Really struggle to let go of it when I'm turning up here to help people. Here we go. So let's see if we can get under previous day high now, 35s. And if we stay heavy at 45s, it would be really good. So 35s is previous day high, red line. They can absorb the tape here. I'm looking to add on rejection here for this wash down. This is all planned out. I don't know how long I planned it out for, but it was a little while. So if we reject 45s here, I'll be willing to add. If we reclaim 60s here, I'm not adding. Here's the little rejection into 45s. There is still liquidity up at 65s, which I don't like. I'd like these guys to move down on the tape because they can still soak under here. So anywhere from 45 to 60 needs to stay heavy for me. I'm just watching it. Looking for an add here if they can pump and fail. Little break here coming maybe. Come on, just lift it a little bit more first. Don't use that as the trap. Moving to 50 would be great. Don't make me chase it underneath. I don't want to add too close to previous day highs. I'm looking for it to just lift a little bit higher. Oh my God, it's going to break. Okay, here's previous day high. Next pop, I'm going to have to stick something on this. Here we go. Come on, lift a little bit more. Bit more, bit more, bit more, bit more, bit more. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Keep coming. Lift it a bit more. I want to see if they want to visit. There's some sellers, 50, 55, 60, 65. I just want to see if they want to like sort of pump up and then pull those offers and then slam it. I'm just trying to be a little bit patient here. If you, by the way, if you wanted to pay yourself into previous day high, it's valid. Okay, here comes a buyer, 47s. So let's see if this guy gets stuck. All right, I've added back on there into 47s. Nice. All right, need to see a breakdown under previous day high. Do not want this to soak previous day high now. Nice, they're chasing it lower now. Come on, we need a break under previous day high. Really nice. ES into New York open already. So that would take us back down to 25,000 if we're going to do that move. If we can please start washing here. Please start washing here. Can we just do what ES is doing for goodness sake? For goodness sake, NQ. And be careful. ES is finding a bid at that New York Open. If we lose New York Open on ES, it will really help. Come on, mate. Trying to get down into 25,000 even here. Want 45s to stay heavy here. Really got to be very careful because ES is finding a bid at that New York Open. ES has basically done the move that I want on NQ. Come on, baby. Get 25,000 and then we can hold for runners under 25,000 down into this block here for another 100 points. So I'm looking to try and cover down here. I'm very aware that they can sort of hold us up here, but I'm looking for... Here we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Pay myself a little bit in here. And let's see now, folks. Like, if I'm right, if they want to let go of this, like I said, I'm not going to buy up here. You would in my mind, you're a fucking psychopath buying up here. All right, this can reprice this whole thing. So I paid myself a little bit into this, and we'll see if we come down into here. And I'm willing to rebid down there. All right, and for the whole jargon guy who's not in chat, so don't know why I'm even saying it, why I'm still fucking annoyed about it. But hopefully you guys have made some money out of this. All right, it's basically, I just gave you 100 points. Like I said, I don't try and position for 10, 20 points. Try and get 100 points. And I'm still holding this. My ad is still in this. And I'm looking for lower on the ad if possible. If possible. It might not bring it, but if we can. Look at ES now starting to let go of New York Open and previous day high. If we can get ES down to the 24-hour VWAP 772, that'd be really good. Which for SPY, basically, if we can get SPY down to 670s, And look at VIX back over 2250. So I'm looking for VIX to get to 23s. Q's under VWAP now. So we're shaping up really well now. We're looking really good. All right, you should have paid yourself a little bit. We're now looking really good. The order flow thing really works. I mean, order flow works because it's real. It's not made up. It's not based on, oh, here's a pattern, here's a candle, here's this. It's based on pure data, right? It's literally pure data. It's buyers and sellers on the tape who have transacted and looking to transact. I got the trade in before my system alerted, yeah, because we were overextended, right? So like the system would show you momentum, but like even with this system, you'd want to be careful taking a sell here because we're into the deep pullback. All right, so some traders will just buy the deep pullback. These are 72.89 Fibonacci's. But if we start letting go, if we can build out liquidity here, and it might shake out for a while, but all the time, think about this now, all the time we're under this, all the buyers from this morning who bid in an area where I said I will not bid up there or refuse to bid up there are trapped, which means if we start coming under here, every buyer in New York is now a seller, and we should get this revisit down into here and here. And this is the area where I'd be willing to... Come on. Come on. How can people be so mean to me when I do this? Nice. All right. TP1 is here. I'm still holding, but they might well hold this New York open. All right. I'm just warning you now. TP1 is here. You should have paid yourself something. If we get below this, it will be really fun. But this is right back into the open print of today. So it's a big cover point. You can see everyone looks at the same thing as me. Everyone who's smart, covering some into that. And all the time we stay heavy under 50s, you're okay. But you know, it depends if you're willing to give 50 points back on New Runner. Is move back to the 50s. Right, so they will need to stay heavy now at 50s. And I'll tell you now, if they reclaim 70s, they're going to scream up for high of day. They will scream up for high of day if they reclaim 70s. Amazing. Thank you. You're right. Yeah. All right, so 50s have to stay heavy here. Again, they get through 50s, they go for 70s, they get through 70s, they'll go high of day. All right, so 50s has to stay heavy here. If you're adamant on adding here for whatever reason, you would need to risk 70s at this point. So we're coming back up to test this shelf. Right, this has to stay heavy. Right, sellers need this to stay heavy, and they really need you under New York now for this move. If buyers are able to reclaim this, they will go high of day. All right, because this is the wash underneath. That can be the trap of liquidity, and they can rinse this back to high of day now if they want. So you'd be watching 70s here. Are we looking for buys or sells? I've been in sells all day. I'm not, for me personally, I'm looking for buys off these. But like I said, if you reclaim 70s, there's a good argument for a high of day move. Very, very strong argument for a high of day move at that point. Here's the move back to 70s. So this is the level now. Now, if they squeeze through this, there's a strong argument for a high of day move, like I said. So sellers will, this is the last chance saloon for sellers, is 70s basically. They should have defended 50s. They didn't. They need to defend 70s. Failure to do that, they will lift right back to high of day. Here's a move back to 70s, towards 70s. This is last chance for sellers. ES looks like it wants to lift to New York VWAP at the moment. And I'd say sellers need it back under 47. Same level as earlier, right? Same level as earlier. Where's Coop been? I think he's been very busy with his job recently. buyers protect 47s now, shorts will be in trouble. And they are trying to protect 47s. So this range here, sort of 50 to 70. The reason I say 47s is the big area, it's the big delta. Again, I would remind you, we're in rollover week. Understanding what happens in rollover week. They need to move, they literally need to move their contracts, folks. Only quarterly contracts is the move to 70s. I tell you, if they get through 70s, they will be explosive. Am I in? No, I'm done with it. As soon as we came back up to 45s, I was done with it. And we'll see. I'll see now if they set up for another trade. Don't really want to be along above 70s, even though I think it will work out. It's just very hard for me to pull that trigger, but this could be the H1 pullback, could be enough. We are pulling back to old value, technically speaking. Hold of 25,000 is a good hold based on previous week. Let's see. What am I using for charting? This is TradingView. $45 for a high of day. What if you're long? I'd say probably, yeah, I'd say 43, 41, 43 if you're trying to long. But really you want it above 70s. You're a bit early. If you're trying to long, you'd want it above 70s for that long, really. They're testing it here because they can pop up here and fail. Remember, they can still make a lower high. Like if you're long, really what you'd want to see is a break and a hold of this. Otherwise, you're just longing in this area and they can still come back down here. This is the chop zone. Look what we did earlier here. Right, this is what we did earlier. We expect it to chop in here. Right, this is fair value for the day. Chopping around here. ES trying to hold the New York Open and previous day high. So if they're able to hold here, there's an argument for this move up here today. I consider the long, but it's just not something I like. And we're into a nasty profile as well, if we just think about that. Like, this is basically your D. And I know values here and here, but like there's no acceptance. The only acceptance today so far is basically 45 to 70. There's been no acceptance of price outside of a 20-point range. You're looking short here. I mean, short makes sense up here at 70s. But you just got to know that if it explodes through that, you are in big trouble. ES is still holding that New York Open. The short will pay when you start getting underneath the 45s again. So here comes the sell. I'm watching the 45s to see how we act down here. I'll consider getting heavy if we start wanting to move away. Here's 45. So this is key now. How we act here is absolutely key. Because if they soak this and go above 70, whoever just said they're looking short here, you will be in trouble. We haven't found acceptance underneath sort of 45s. If we can find acceptance under it, and remember where you are higher time frame, you're pulling back right into those old highs. So they just soaked 45s again. I mean, they drifted under it by a point or two. Yeah, I'm on the new contract. Like I said, very start, new contract. You can tell by the prices at the side, guys. ES doing the dance between New York Open and previous day high. So here's a move back to 70s. Like I said, the guy that's short, whoever is just calling for that short, be very careful. If you break 70s after they hold 45s, you are going to be in trouble. And they're looking for that lift to 85s right now by the looks of it. Getting very tight here in that choppy range. Oh! Back to 70s. Mag now all green again. I think this just chops around for a while at the moment. We're not finding acceptance of anything. I think we're literally rolling over the contracts. No Tyson trade. There's plenty of time. We'll see. We're right at the midpoint. We've got you'd have to let it get to an extreme. Book's so built up both sides of price right now. So many small bids and small offers both sides. On the 5 minute, looks like it could be a flag. I mean, I'm watching more the hourly, to be honest. The hourly is what's perking my interest. So we're holding current week value area high. We just dipped into 25,000 and held it. And so I'm questioning, is that going to be enough now? And that they're going to look to use the liquidity at 140 from the 12th to take us up to 200. That's what I'm questioning at the moment. Was that going to be, is it going to be a shallow pullback day and a rip of 140 to get to 200? That's what it feels like to me at the moment. Top side of range, do they find acceptance now on a pullback that holds 70s? If not, we're going to go back to 45s again. Nvidia green to red again. These things could just keep doing the dance. So no acceptance over 75s yet. So we're going to go back to 45s again, probably, because they couldn't find acceptance. And if we sell this now, it'd be heavy because buyers just got trapped at 73s. So I'm watching, again, it's nothing's changed yet. I'm watching 45 to sort of 70, 75. That is your rotation. There's no, for me, I'm not executing in an area of condensed, like squeezed position. I want us to leave an area, just like we waited here to leave 93s earlier, right? Was it 93s? I think once we left that, we get this move. We don't want to trade in here, right? We really don't want to trade in there. You want to trade the leave away from it, the leave away from it, the leave away from it. You don't want to execute in here. Right, there's no, what's your edge here now? Lots of you guys are coming in saying buy or sell. You tell me. Like, VWAP's flat, flow zones are flat, point of controls in here, edges are just being held each side. Like, there's no edge in here right now. There's none, because we're building up liquidity. So if you don't know what it is, you shouldn't be trading. I keep looking at that hourly, think they want to rip 140-200 at the moment. That's what I keep looking at on the higher time frame. But the guys that are having fun are the guys that got long 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., even the opening of the 8 a.m. candle. Those are the guys that are having a lot of fun right now. We haven't really gone anywhere, folks. Right? We haven't really gone anywhere. If you really think about what we did. Right? New York Open, dip, rip, chop, squeeze, chop, fail, back to chop. Right? We've not really gone anywhere. We need to leave this. Okay, here's the 45 check. Again, I'll get heavy if we start staying heavy under 45. And there's a buy side imbalance underneath value area low right now at 33 and 30. So if we start trading through that, it'd be fun. So if we reject 45 here, I'm interested short. We reclaim 45, it just means no acceptance underneath again, and we're going to go right back to 60. Here's the 45 check. If they hold this, we're going to go 60. So no acceptance underneath, lifting back up. Here you go. They're going to go right back to 60 and check 60 now. And if they get through 60, guess what? They're going to check 70 and then 75 again. And they're going to keep doing this and keep building out. And what you have right now is one of these. $45 again being checked. So do they soak 45 again on the retest? Yes is the answer. Now they're going to try and go 60 again to point of control. Now sellers, really, this is probably their last chance. They have to sell 60 now and rotate under 45. Otherwise, I'd say that last move lower, which got soaked up, will cause them pain. I'd say that's their last chance now is to sell 60. Otherwise, we'd probably go 70 and high of day. Here we go. They're trying to get through 60 to 70 and high of day. Here's 70s, and they will try and go high of day now. If they can get through it. Back to 60s. What a sloppy, horrible session this has been. Other than this move, and unless you took the squeeze this morning, there's been nothing else to do. Well, at least we got 100 points there. Nothing else right now we can do with it. Again, guys, rollover week. You should kind of expect this on this week. Okay, SPY coming back to 673s. If it gets through that, it's going to look for a new high of day, 675. It's going to have to get through all the liquidity, but that's what it's looking for. It's looking for a break now to get to the high of day. It's what, if you want to get long, this is what it's looking for now. I'd say they trap shorts underneath 47s now, and they're going to look for this 75 break, and they need to get through the imbalance at 90 and lift through 93 and come test 110, and then they've got a shot of high of day. They will not want it back under 60 again. They've done so much work now under 60. Buyers really won't want this to collapse. So they have probably done enough work here. They will try and look for this move here and then 110, and then they can lift high of day, and then they can try and get up into 200s. All right, that's what they're looking for at the moment, these buyers. I wouldn't be a seller here right now. The sale's gone. For me, I'm not going to be in anything here, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be a seller up here now. Is rollover week choppier? Yeah, definitely. I mean, think about it. You've got billions and billions of dollars worth that need to move from the old contract to the new contract, right? How are you going to do that? Right? You need to create lots of liquidity, right? Get out the old contract, get into the new contract. Get out the old, get into the new. You don't want to do that at extremes. You need to do it where, as you start to position, get out of 1,000 of one contract, get into 1,000. You need to do it in a big liquidity pool, all right? Which is why we get choppy sessions. They're not going to do it at extremes, right? You're not going to sell the old contract and buy a new contract straight away there, are you? You're going to get pinned, right? You need to do it at a level that you're happy to move around in. So here they go. If they hold this, like I said, there is a chance to move back higher now. That's what I think they're trying to do, especially if ES gets over that New York VWAP. So here you go. If you wanted to be a buyer here, this is the move. And I'd be watching here into 92s and then the 110s and then 200. All right. So I gave it to you if you want it. I'm not going to take it. But if you want that move, it's here for you. Like I said, trade your plan. So you need to get back through value area high. You're going to need ES to get over the New York VWAP. You do not want to see this trading sub 60 now if you've been a buyer in this, because then you go back into the slop. Rollover is this week. It's a week long. You'll be back in like next week. You would have forgotten about it. I always traded with Bookmap. Bookmap, not Bookman. Bookmap. Yeah, I've always used Bookmap, even since my small cap days. No, I never trade YM. So yes, failing New York view up, or popping up and finding a sell there at least, and you're coming back into the 70s. You would not want this to lose 60s. You'll be very upset if it loses 60s. They're going to go back to 47s, and then there's a wash. So they are churning this thing around these same levels that they've been in all day. So here's the 60s. Buyers will not want to lose these 60s. They lose the 60s, you go 47s, and you wash hard. They will not want to lose these 60s. They will want to soak these 60s and reclaim 75 and get through 90s. Otherwise, they are in so much trouble after the work that they've done. It's the 60s now, and they will need to hold this. They will not want a revisit of here. They will not. They will need this to happen. Otherwise, they are in big trouble. For me, it's a buyer's market today since that pullback has held. But I would say that they are getting a little bit risky down there at 60s. Here they go. So they need to get back through the 75s and through the 90s, and then they're positioned well. But under 60s, you're in big trouble. Abdullah, why aren't I taking any trades? Because I made my 100-pointer, which was a good trade. For me, I'm not going to position in chop, all right? Because I'm choosing not to. How about that? Because I'm choosing not to trade in bad locations. How about that? That's why. Like, because I know where my edge is. Do you know where your edge is? My edge is avoiding shitty rotations like this. My edge is avoiding weeks where we're on rollover. My edge is playing where people are caught. Max Dowman, yeah, what a fucking player. All right, back into the lower side. I'd say buyers are going to be in trouble here for any print under 47. That's why they're desperately trying to hold 47s right now. Under 47s, they are in big, big trouble here. So they've got to reclaim 65s, and they've got to do it quick. And you can see it's sloppy, really sloppy action here. So ES just went from New York VWAP to the New York Open and got stuck between the both. So we're literally just stuck in no man's land at the moment. Yeah, like I said, it's a choice. Like, you have free will. This whole thing about people wanting to trade, like, just because I can see something doesn't mean it's a good setup. Like I talk about, I like trading away from liquidity, aggressively moving away from liquidity into key levels. I don't want to become liquidity. I want to trade away from liquidity. I tell you what, though, if we start losing 47s, I'm interested if we're going to start printing and coming into these single prints lower again. But still trying to soak 47s to get up to 65s. But if these buyers lose 65s and 47s, this thing will wash. So I'm interested in the sell if we stay heavy. Again, I'm not going to be a buyer up at these highs. 47, still soaking 47s. This is such a big level, man. Massive level. The buy side imbalance right down to 30 if they want to go and fill it. Here we go. So if they stay heavy 47s now, I'm going to get short into previous day high, but they've got to stay heavy at 47s. Otherwise, if they reclaim, they go right back to 65s again, and it's the same dance they did, I don't know, 5-10 minutes ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 minutes ago. 47's key here. Do they reject it, or are they going to lift right back to 65s? Here's the 47 test. They need to stay heavy here for a wash down. Put a little piece on just in case. I'm not confident in this trade, I'll be honest, but just in case we're going to come fill 30s and under. Here we come. So I'm short versus 37, soaked instantly into previous day high. That does not fill me with confidence. I'll tell you what, we get above 50, I'm out. That was a very quick, aggressive soak at previous day high, and ES doing the same. I'm out. Not going to hold through that. They're just going to chop this around for longer and longer. They haven't got enough liquidity yet. That is awful. That is an awful, awful soak. Yeah, Sam, I'd agree. I'd agree. Like, so I've been trying to avoid it. I just had like one little go there once they let go of 47s, and they instantly soaked that, so I instantly got out on the 50 reclaim. Maybe they go one more time, but I don't think I want to trade it now. It just looks ugly. Sellers aren't walking down. Look at them above, like 55, 60, 65, 80. They're just like, everyone's just sat there because it's rollover. No one wants to do anything. And ES looks absolutely awful between New York Open and New York VWAP. Like, that looks terrible. So we're still doing the same move that we talked about like 5-10 minutes ago. This here. Right back to 65s. Right back to 70s. Nothing's changed. All right, tell you what, I'm going to use a bathroom, let this do what it needs to do for a minute, and then come back and we'll see what moves when I'm back. Okay, I'm at top side again. This is ridiculous. What a bore. What a bore. Well, they're back to value area high, the 90s. And if they get through this, they go 110 and then 200s. So the next move is 110 and 200 at this point if the buyers can start taking control. So 90s here, and then 110, 200s if they can take control. It's a big if at the moment, but that is the if. What am I eating? I was eating some creatine gummies. Okay, so again, buyers now, they would want to hold the top of it, 70s. They want to hold dips into 70s, and they will look to get through 90s to 110s. Otherwise, we're just going to keep trapping in a very tight profile, folks. We're trapped between 90 and 40 right now. It's all you've got. You've got 50 points. No, I'm not in any trade. Oh, my days. We've had the big trade. I took a stop loss, 5-point stop loss here just now. We had the 100-point trade. It's been and gone. You've missed it. If you're coming late, you've been and gone. We had that trade, right? That was it. I just tried one here and instantly cut it. That's it. It's the only 2 trades today. No, you can trade QQQ off it. That's fine. Like right now, you'd be looking for a hold of 605 QQQ. You hold that, you're going to go 607, 609. That's what they've priced in. You lose 605s, you lose VWAP, you go right back to 602, 601. That's your QQQ level. So here's the drip back inside. They need to hold 70s now. They will not want to lose 70s. Like, and this is like extremely boring at this point. Yeah, VIX rejected 2250. I see it. It's dropping down to low of day. But buyers need to step in here at 70s and lift it. That's the problem. Otherwise, VIX can be an undercut and a trade back up. But buyers should step in here versus 70s now. But the last time they should have done it and they didn't do it either. So I just don't trust this chart right now. We don't look good. This just looks awful. They should be trying to do this move to 110 and then 200 for the naked POC. They've done enough work, but no one, because my worry is because this hasn't been deep enough, right? This is where people really want to buy. They don't really want to buy up here for that move. They might be forced to buy up here, but it's why you're not seeing buyers come in on the tape aggressively at the moment. Yeah, Neff. Yeah. Isn't it easy for me to just tell you what I'm doing and not teach you so you can just be lazy and copy? Yeah, it's easy. I will not do that. Plus, it's not legal. All right, so here's the move. And can they break 90s now for the move to 110? So they've held 70s there. They just dipped to 75. They would need to hold 64s as their last chance saloon. And they need to get a break over 90s for the move to 110 and then possibly to 200. I'm not, guys, it's very simple. I am not going to gift you the exact trade window saying I'm buying here and I'm selling there. Go and watch those streams then. I wonder how those actually work out. Not very well. It's up to you to learn. If you want to learn to trade here, I'm teaching you how to trade. I will teach you how to fish. I'm not going to trade your account for you. And like you might have seen on social media, a lot of people are now getting banned from prop firms for doing that because it means you're copy trading and I'm giving you the exact levels. It's not allowed, guys. It's illegal. I'm not a financial advisor. So they're looking for this break. They're trying to hold 65, 70s for the breakthrough 90s to get to 110s. That's what the longs are looking for at the moment. There's lots of liquidity at 95 to 100, but I think they want to try and visit the 110s if possible, where the buy got caught. ES now above VWAP. If ES reclaims this shelf at 800, this thing will get motoring, especially if VIX starts dropping, which it's trying to. NQ just sluggish because Nvidia still red, Microsoft still red. Those need to go red to green, and then they'll get a lift here. You see all this liquidity above into 100s here. They should just spike and swipe it. That's what they're trying to do. Again, this is ugly now. Very, very ugly chart. SPY now through the 73s, which looks good. Q's at 605, over 605s. They've got to soak 605s and they've got a chance for extension. But again, we're at the mean. QQQ is at the mean. It's 20 days. Completed the mean reversion off the lows. Did we do that in 2 days? Yeah. Drop right back down into the top of the shelf where they need to protect it. So I'd say, what is it? Imbalance is at 70s, but they need to protect 65. That's a good soak there. That's what you want to see. Now they've got to do follow through. ES needs to hold this New York view up. They've got to get follow through here. Otherwise, they're all going to get trapped at that high again. And we're going to go right back down to the other side of the megaphone if they can't hold 65s and 70s. Here we go. Here's the test of 70s. Here's 65. This is it. It's now or never for these bulls. And if they lose this, we're going to go right back down to the other side. And it's going to be exactly the same as we've done all day as we start to chop around these same areas. So, they need to protect this level. They need to protect this, and they've got to get through this guy here now for that squeeze. Otherwise, they're going to get themselves caught. It's a good hold down there so far, but they've got to get back to the upside now. Here they go. They're trying. They are desperately trying. They've got to get back over 90s, and then they can probably rip some faces if they can get up there. Here they go. So let's see if they lift this to 110s now that they did that pullback, which held. So if you got long that pullback, makes sense. Again, I'm not trading this. It's just too choppy for me. There's no follow through. We're right at the midpoint of the range. Everything's condensed and stacked here. There's nothing to do. For me personally, there's nothing to do here. Guys, you know you guys in chat talking about oil. You know, like one of you's like, oil's pumping, and then oil's dumping, oil's this, oil's that. I would suggest you zoom out. Just zoom out. Which strategy, Marcus? Because I have many strategies. Which strategy? I like using people's pain. All right. So today, I'd love to be a buyer in this market. I don't really want to be a buyer up here. All right. I'd like to be a buyer down here. Why? Because it's yesterday's fair value. Right? Because it's yesterday's not only fair value, but cheap. Everything together down here. I'd love to be a buyer down here for that rotation up. Right? I'm not going to be a buyer. Look at this. You think I'm going to buy up here like everyone tried this morning? No, I'm going to wait for buyers to get stuck. And today it forced me to play the counter trend leg down. We soaked off New York Open, unfortunately. So now I think they're trying to use sellers caught under here and this liquidity here to get back up to 110 for the squeeze to 200. It's what they're trying to do. I just don't know if they have the capabilities of doing it on a day like today without doing this deep wash down into these levels down here. I mean, they haven't even checked previous day value area high. We haven't checked any of these levels. It's dangerous, but it's trying, in my mind, to do this at the moment. But it's not an A+ scenario here. I way prefer the pro trend play, which is long, but I prefer it from down here, the area that I want to long at. Otherwise, it's a chase. So because we're not dripping down into those areas, we're now chopping. Because many people like me who turned up at the New York session will want that trade, but they will also be like, don't really want to be buying up here. Like if my area to buy in is down at 24,900, why am I considering a buy 300 points higher? That's what they will have in their head, right? And we're talking about market makers who are about to put like millions of dollars to work, right? Tyson trade, well, we're nowhere near IB yet, so what's the naked level? Basically 200, 94s or 95s, yeah, 25,194. Do I think we get a Tyson trade? I don't know what we get today, guys. I'm just like you, right? I'm just trading. I don't have a magic ball. I can only trade what's in front of me. I don't know if we're going to get up here, right? I don't know if we take out the 110s. I think it's trying to, but at the moment, all I know is it's stuck in this area. Okay, I don't know. Maybe we get back above the 93s where we got short earlier and it gets to 110s and it takes out higher day and it gets up here. Maybe it bases above IB. Maybe it's a look above and fail. I don't know until we get there, folks. I'm not going to predict the market. I'm going to trade what's in front of me. All right, it's a whole reason we trade. If you're in the prediction game, go and have a bet on the horses, right? I'm not going to do that. We've got to play what's actually happening. At the moment, not a lot is actually happening. I'm English, yeah. Mystic Meg, do you remember her? God, it's taking me back. Showing your age there. Moody, you're showing your age there. All right, right back into these areas. Remember, this is where we got short earlier. I think they're trying, like I said, I think they're trying to find acceptance through 1993 for the move to 110. And through 110, if they can base above, then there's a move to 200. But again, this is where we got short earlier because this is where buyers got stuck. All right. This is why it's value area high. We're just, all we're doing right now is this, right? Look, D-shape is this. I think they are trying to lift, but it's just whether they've got the juice. Nvidia about to go red to green. Rest of the market's gone red to green already. It's whether they can find acceptance. I would say 93 is the level. Through 93 to 96, we go 110. And then through 110, there's a shot at, well, definitely you get high of day, and then you will get a shot at 200. That's what they're trying to do. There's no settings for VWAP, man. It's just normal settings. Anchored to the New York Open, 24 hours. There's a lot of questions in chat which are very, very, like, very basic today. I've seen all sorts in there. How do you get a level? What kind of question is that? How do you find initial balance? It's the high and the low between 9:30 and 10:30. That's all it is. The most extreme points between 9:30 and 10:30. And he said failing value area high again, and if they fail it again too many times, they're going to come right back down to 65. And if they fail 65, we're going to come down to 45s. So just no follow through here, folks. I can't do anything with this. I can't help it that the market wants to trade in a tight range. There's nothing I can do. Yeah, stuck under the 6.8. It can't get through the 6.8 right now. This is head on brick wall stuff, man. If we don't move in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to get off early because there's no way I'm going to sit and watch this for another hour. There's nothing to do here. So either we have to find acceptance over 90 or under 45, or I will leave. I'm not going to watch a screen do 50-point rotation for another hour. Definitely deserve time away from the screens. Enjoy your feet up on the beach. Cheers. Thanks for the time and effort. You give us knuckleheads. Have a drink with me. That's very kind. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, tomorrow's stream might be like half an hour or an hour. I'll see how much time I get to the airport. But I'm not going to... I won't be here Thursday and Friday, folks. Okay, so back to the 70s. If they lose 70s, they check 65s. If they lose 65s, they check 45s. If they lose 45s, they check 25,000 again. This is just garbage right now. Absolute garbage what we're watching. No, I didn't watch the TJR exposed video. I don't need to watch that. It offers me nothing. I've told you, anyone who's ever mentioned him in here, I've told you he's a scam. Anyone that trades CFDs is a scam. Okay, here's the lift to 90s again. So they're trying to hold 70s, back to 90s. Through 90s, they will try and go 110s. I keep saying it, but they keep struggling up here. And if we get through 90s and through 110s, they will have an effort for 200. Whether they get a fail break, look above and fail of IB or not is what's going to matter now. Trade C hasn't rolled over contracts. It will be your job to roll over the contracts, not Trade C. So you can type in the new contract at any point you want. It's up to you what you want to trade. Why don't I use TradingView to live trade? Yeah, I don't think TradingView is good for live execution. I think it's very poor. I think it's very slow. Then comes the 90s. If you get through 90s, 110s. So watching this now, you can watch this now for this break. So back into the top side of this range again. If they get through, I think 93s is like the level that we played earlier. It's there or thereabouts. If you get acceptance over this, you should go 110s. But this is, again, ES cannot get over those 6/8. So this morning we found bids over 6/8 for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes. Once we came under that, we got stuck. We keep rejecting that on ES as well. So you need ES to get back over 6/8. If they do that, they can build out that inverse right shoulder on ES. Until that point, we keep getting stuck again, stuck at the top of the range again. So come right back down to 70s, check 65s again. If they lose 65s, we go 45s. If they hold 65s, we go back to 90s again. And we're going to keep doing this. Oh my God, guys, you're killing me, guys. You're killing me. No Tyson trade today. How can there be a Tyson trade, right, if we're not at the initial balance? How can there be a Tyson trade? Come on, folks. Like, you guys are better than this, man. Killing me. That's like me saying, is there no all-time high breakout trade today? No, because we're not at the all-time high. How can we talk about a trade that we're not anywhere near? Come on, folks. Come on, folks. You're better than that. We're just not moving, man. I don't think you're saying people are trying to wind me up. I don't think they are. I just think people don't understand, aren't willing to put the work in. I don't think it's anything to do with winding me up. Like, I'm not going to get wound up. You guys can. You're in charge of your own money. If you want to get short here versus IB, you fucking do it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. There's nothing for me. We're just not doing anything. This is the competitive level right now. Do this like this. That's the competitive level. ES rejecting in front of 6/8s again. We're back to these 60s again. If we lose 60s, we're going to go 45s again. If we hold 60s, we're going to try 90s again. Yeah, Microsoft just gone green to red. Nvidia gone green to red. So they're just dancing around those levels. I think there's any edge right now, folks. There's just no edge. If you think there's edge in this market, trade your plan. The only edge was the one trade we had, which was here to here. That was the only edge. Since then, they should try and do this, all right? They're not, okay? Which means they're opening themselves up for this rotation down here again, but it's just ugly. We've already had that attempt, so now we have to respect the liquidity built out here. So we lack, whereas first time round, we could fill all of this in. This time round, not so good. And we can watch this and observe this level again, but they might just well soak it. Thanks, Blitz. What got me into it? I think I've just always been interested in it, really. It runs in the family. Dad did it. Best mates were at Morgan. I interviewed for a job like this when I left university, so I've always been interested. Okay, back to the 45s again. And do they bid these 45s again? Back into range. We're about to find out. Or do we lose it and go washy? Oh. Back to 60s. This is fun. I don't remember a day where we were so tight in value. 50-point value. God, it's been a while since we've had that on NQ. Just anything direct. Like, I don't know. I don't really use other platforms for futures outside of Ninja. But I'm sure that all the others like Quant Tower and stuff like that are very good. Okay, they're checking 45s. If they soak 45s, they're going to go back to 65, 60, 65. If they get through 70, they're going to go back to 90 again. And we're just going to keep rotating this 50-point range until they find acceptance out of this range. ES is still soaking New York Open, so it cannot get through New York VWAP and 6.8, and it's back to New York Open and previous day high, and we're just building out a ton of liquidity here. A ton of liquidity here now. Globex is way lower. Down here, man. 900s. Where I'm interested in being a buyer. Down here. That's where I'm interested in being a buyer. Way down there. And that's we can also trade right the way down to this pivot low. Right. So I think in here is the location. If we bid off that, great. If we lose that, there's a failure back down into here. At the moment, I think what we've done overnight, there's the breakout, straight up. Now just building liquidity up here. It's not an area where I feel really good about buying. Like I said, it might want to drift to that naked POC up here, but it's not really a very good area to be a buyer at, which is why I'm avoiding the buys today. All right, let's see then. Let's see how they act at 45. So we're going to find acceptance lower. So here's previous day high again. If they sell the pop to 45s, I will have one more go at this maybe. This might be last trade of the day. So here's under previous day high. And they've got to stay heavy versus PDH or 45s, really. If they reclaim 45s, there's no trade to be had. And we just filled in a little imbalance down here. So they need to sell 45s now or under. If they reclaim 45s, we go back into the death chop, I'm going to call it. If we sell 45s or under, there's a move down to 25,000 again. And if we sell that, there's a move down into this block here. Right down into these is possible if they stay heavy under all of this. Wait and see if they will lift this up to give me a potential entry here. If they're just going to keep washing hard, washy like we talked about. Oh, still they're selling it. Need a lift up here. Otherwise I'm going to have to play under 25,000, which is not ideal. This is the higher time frame grey box here. So waiting to see if we can test back towards 45.50 for a sell. They might just not let me in now. It might be that they've trapped enough and they want to move downside pressure. I don't really want to chase, but I'll consider action under 25,000 if we start basing under that for the sell. How much room would I have? 40 points, not too bad. Can we lift up to 45s for me? Nope. They're just going to sell this hard. Tape's walking this down now. 20s. They get through 20s, they're going to go straight down. Force me to put a little piece on here probably. Yep. You're going to force me to put it on, aren't you, you bastard? That's very annoying. Here we come. So watching 25,000 again. I've got a small piece on. It's a chase because they were staying heavy versus 25, so I didn't really have a choice, unfortunately. Happy to cut this on the 30 for a 5-point loss and then add back in with size at 45 if I need to. No problem doing that. Let's see. Come on then, lift to 45. Give me a better entry. Here we come. Come up a bit more, bit more. Come up to 45s. Previous day high here. I want this to lift just a tiny bit higher. We're selling previous day high here. I want this to lift into 45s to 50s. Give me a potential entry short. If they reclaim that, there's no entry short. I'm flat right now. I cut that trade for like 5-point loss. And I'm waiting to see if we lift into 45s to 50s for a sell, which we're trying to do at the moment. They're getting stuck in front of it, previous day high. Looking for the short here for the rotation. If they reclaim 45s and 50s, there's no play. Oh, they just sold that hard. Got to watch 23s where I sold last time, because that's where the sellers came in first time round. Here we go. I might do the same trade again here. Here we go. Underneath it, we're going to sell this now. They should sell now versus 22s, 23s, based on what we did last time. They shouldn't really reclaim 27s at this point. So watching 27s here, see if they get follow through. 27 test. They should sell this now. If not, we go back to 45s. They should sell 27s. Are you going to sell 27s? Are you going to step in, mate? Or are you just going to move out the way to 45s again? Here they come. They're trying. Big battle here. If they don't sell this, we go 45s quickly. Here we go. Back to 45s then. Oh my God. Can we get some follow through? Just hanging around this new shelf here. Can we get some follow through, please? Still looking for a sell versus 50. Nothing's changed. Reclaim. If we go to 50 and hold 45s, I won't look for the sell. I'll ignore it because then we're just going to go back into range. I'm still looking for a short here. Got a small piece on. I'm looking for a short versus 50 to take out 25,000 for a rotation back to 24,960, 24,940, 24,920, 24,870 downside targets if we let go. Yeah, VIX is at that 2250. It's the big level. It's the highest volume node on VIX right now. It's 2250. Come on, get to 25,000 and just wash it out now. You're not going to let me get any more size on, clearly. This 20 is a big level because we've sold 20s like a few times now. They got to get under 20s and then we should get 25,000. And buyers stepped in at 9s and 5s this morning. And there's still a little imbalance down there from that first mean reversion we did this morning off the low. Oh my God, we're going to chop down here now for an hour. We're going to do 20 to 45 chop down here now for an hour. Really? Building out a new node here. You can see it. 30s to sort of 20s. Oh my days. I'm going to bang my head on a brick wall here soon. I'm still not out. I'm waiting to see if we retest. I'm staying short side all the time. We're heavy versus 50. Trade's gone if we base between 50 and 45. Otherwise, I'm selling this. It's under previous day high. It's good. It's looking good so far. I'm looking for some kind of move like this, maybe even up to here to sell. Any reclaim of this, I'm not touching. Same as here, won't touch. The reason I'm more willing to sell this than buy it is I think we want to come down into these kind of pockets for a bid back up. And I'll be willing to buy down here. Hopefully tomorrow. I might run out of time tomorrow morning, but we'll see. Is the news this market's waiting for? Yeah, Iran news, man. Like, have you heard the president? Your president who contradicts himself every 2 minutes. We need help from the UN and the European countries and Germany, and like we're asking for help. 2 minutes later, we don't need any help. We don't need any help. We're the greatest. Like, mate, make your fucking mind up. All right, here's 45 and 50. We won the war. The war's going to take another 5 days. It's just an excursion. It's an excursion to prevent a war. It's a war. It's an excursion. Mate, You are sounding more and more like Biden every day, buddy. All right, retesting New York Open on ES. So can't get under IB, supported IB, back to the 45. So if they reclaim 45s, 50s, I'm out because it means we're going to go 65, 70s again. And we're just going to go into the chop. All right, 50s out of this now. And any pullback that holds 45 now will be very bullish for the market for that rotation back up into point of control. And there is nothing to do with this market. It's just becoming untradeable at the moment, unfortunately. You can argue that maybe I should risk more here, but I don't want to get squeezed out on a reclaim. I'd much rather stay heavy under 45s and 50s. We already lifted up to 55s there. Is Trump actually talking? Or are you just saying because of me? I don't see anything. All right, and now holding 40s, right? So they should come and try and visit 65s if they're going to hold 45s now. Just don't like this market. These are the exact markets where I try and avoid. You see, I try and attack when we leave trap players. I try and attack when we leave them for the downside. But if we're just going to soak every level and come back in, these are the exact type of markets which I try and leave alone. Do my best to leave these alone. Yesterday was the best one. I think like, what did he say? What were his words? He's talking about 9/11, and he was like, "You should have got rid of him. I would have got rid of him. Bill Clinton had a chance to get rid of him. I'm not saying it's his fault, but I wouldn't have. I would have got rid of him." All right, here's a 45.50 rejection. Let's see again. I'll be looking for the same play here if they're willing to do it. I predicted it. Yeah, I predicted it. Good one, Donald. I predicted it. Here's my promise. Vote for me as president. No more wars. What happened to that? Cheap gas. What happened to that? Inflation down. What happened to that? Oh, it's crazy, man. I've never heard anything like it. Predicted 9/11 now. Still we chop. And still we chop. Still no acceptance. Still just inside range. Affordability. That's my favorite one. He pictures affordability. Affordability for Americans. Then everything since. The left, the Dems, they have this word, affordability. I hate that word. It's not a real word. Fucking incredible. It's so funny. All right, now they're holding 45s, then go 65 again. And if they get through 65, we're going to 75, 85, and 90 again. And then just going to keep washing. And this, now at 8:20. I don't know if I can trade this into lunch, folks. This is starting to be a little bit exhausting to even watch. I didn't ask to be president. It's not that I'm better than the president. It's that if you say something and do the opposite, and if you keep contradicting yourself every other sentence, you start to look like a bit of a wally, mate. I don't care who the fuck you vote for. It doesn't matter. I'll take the piss out of anyone in the world that does that. It doesn't matter whether they're president, king, queen, prime minister. If you have an obligation to your country and you start changing your mind on everything, you're going to look like a bit of a wally. Yeah, the Trend Friend Pro is still available. Just make sure you fill in the form properly. Lots of people don't fill in the form properly. Okay, we're now rejecting 45s again, so we're coming back down to the 30s again. This thing still cannot make its mind up what it wants to do. We are just Absolutely stuck. Maybe we get downside here finally after this rejection. We'll see. See if they build out liquidity and start to lose the bid at 25s here. 20s was the big level, so I'm going to watch 20s here. If we pop up, reject 40s and lose the bid at 20s, I'll try and play that short again for momentum. Here we go, it's 20s. Watching this now for a sell back down to 25,000. Any pop that fails 20s now, I'm going to sell back down to 25,000. So there's the 20s. Need this to stay heavy if I'm going to sell it. Otherwise, we're going back to 45s again with a failed break. ES still protecting 24. So the ES is chat between New York VWAP, 24-hour VWAP. The ES is down here already. So watching these 20s and 45s. If I'm going to sell this, they're going to have to reject here. They've got a shot at doing it. Here's the 20s. What are we doing, market? What are we doing? Protecting 20s now through the 20s. We're going back to this imbalance at 25, 35, 45. So they have to sell this now, otherwise we go upside. And there's lots of liquidity now trying to support the bid. There's, I don't think I can take this, even if I saw it set up now. Look at this bid come in underneath from 25,000, walking up to 25. No, not taking this. Too risky. Look at this bid. They're just stepping up now. Nothing to do here. There is nothing to do here. Can't trade this. This is for me. This is untradeable. Based on what I'm seeing on the bid. Look at them trying to lift. They're trying to step all the way in now. No. No, 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 no. No, thank you. Guinness, yeah, I'm going for Guinness tonight. Paddy's Day, for sure. For sure. So back to the 45s. Yeah, completely untradeable here. Completely untradeable. I don't think they know what they want to do with it. Under 20s should have stayed heavy, didn't. That's a story for me right now. Under 20s should have stayed heavy, didn't. Lifted straight back to 45, sold it, back down to 20. So another 20-point rotation, tiny little rotations. Here's 20s again. And if they absorb this, we go 40s, 45s again. Like, I'd like to see it lower, but they're just not willing to do it. And we're seeing soaking. The bottom side of this, it's sell side being absorbed right now. 20s has been absorbed, right? We should be moving lower, but we shouldn't have come back into 45s really after that last opportunity. So I don't think I can trade it because I think they're just going to trap people and wash. They want 900s. Well, that's what I want. I want 900s as well, but what I'm seeing on the tape is not giving me confidence that we're coming down here right now. It really is not giving me confidence. Look at this. We had the chance to reject here after moving under. We didn't. We got an absorption. They keep absorbing 20s, right, and rotating back up to these 40s, 45s. So they're going to keep doing this nonsense here, and that's going to be exactly the same build out as we did up higher. They're going to keep chopping and chopping and chopping in a 20-point range until they've got enough caught. I just, no thanks. Like, no thanks. I don't trade lack of follow-through setups. And even on Bookmap above me, look at all these bids who keep coming in trying to support the bid higher now. And now a seller's coming in at 45s. And if he gets caught, we're going to go up to 65. Yeah, no thanks, mate. I'm good. I'm good just leaving this alone. We've had one decent trade, one very, very average trade, and that's it. Yeah, I agree. Globex, the last few weeks, has been so much better. It has. There's no doubt about it. Like, what would I rather trade? This shit or this opportunity here? Like, this was such a nice opportunity. Here, here, here. Any of that, beautiful. This, that's what we're getting left with a lot of the time in New York at the moment, unfortunately. And in rollover, it's going to be worse and worse. Do I think this is where they want it? I would say anyone who's looking to rebid on this market, really, they probably, maybe they'll consider a bid here. But I think they're more interested in bids here. Right? Even if we think about that pivot. 61 fib into previous day point of control, previous day value area high, Globex level. This is a good buy zone down here, just sub 900. That's where I would want to be a buyer. And I think a lot of people probably feel the same. It's not coming down there, so what are you going to do? You got to ask yourself, do you play the short down there, or are you willing to move your bid up? I'm not willing to move my bid up. I'm stubborn. What trade should we take tomorrow? How can I tell you that, Matt, when we're not even at midday today? I don't know where we're going to open tomorrow. I don't know. Are we expanding range? Have we moved value higher? Have we moved value lower? Are we testing a key level? How am I supposed to tell you what you're going to trade tomorrow? All right, back to these 20s again. So this same level that they should have defended before, where sellers keep getting stuck. If they find acceptance under 20s, we should go 25,000 and then we can get that wash. But at the moment, they keep soaking 20s. You can see it. They keep soaking and absorbing 20s. Sellers cannot get confirmation under 20s right now. It's where they keep getting stuck. Here's 20s test again. If they get under this, they go 25,000. But they've got to get under all of this that we've just built out. They keep soaking here. Still no trade for me. I just can't risk it down here. It's too risky with what I'm seeing on the tape. Look at these bids. I think we want to move 900s, but I just think they're going to make it very hard to get that play. 20s again. Tempting to put something on here, but you're asking to get squeezed. Do I risk it into that imbalance at 20s? Do I risk 20 sell here? Yep, gonna have to risk it if they pop up. Watching 20s here. I'm watching for a potential sell at 20s or into 20s versus 28. Won't give it more room than that. They pop and sell here. Watching the tape here. They're lifting higher. Okay, put a piece on at these lows. Very, very, very risky small side. I'm not going to give it any room, just in case we use this sell side now to really start driving. Nice. Good. We're using these sellers now, finally. We need to get underneath this imbalance here at 06s, and then we should take out 25,000. Remove to 900s. Just let it go, you fucking idiots. These sellers at 25 and 30s are playing games, though. We'll not allow this to come over 26s now. 28s. Give it to 28s. Trying to sell the lows. It's very, very risky. It's just based on what I've seen on the tape, how we shifted there. If we start absorbing here, I will have to take this off. And ES is still holding IB and still trapping between previous day high, IB, and 24-hour VWAP. Nice rejection there. That's good. Right, these sellers at 35 got to come and protect this level now. This guy at 35 needs to walk down. Stop hanging out up there, mate. You're going to make it impossible for us to get the move. Oh, my God. This might be bad for me. I don't want to give any money back here. Yeah, what did I say? 28s. This is 30s. They didn't sell under 25s there when they should have. No. No, I'm going to get stopped out here. This is me trying to force myself on the market. I deserve to be stopped out here, so I'm going to eat the loss. There you go. Eat this loss. That's my fault. Trying to force versus that 25 level. But small size, only giving a tiny bit back, doesn't matter. They fucking puke to 900 now. I'm done. I'm not having another go. If they puke to 900 now, the next 30 minutes, I'm going to cry. Coming. It's coming. There's a guy absorbing here at 09s, and if he gets out of the way, he's going to get caught. There's a buyer at 09s absorbing. If he loses this bid, he's going to get caught. He's doing his best to hold this market up. If he's gone, he's going to get in big trouble. Oh, I think it's coming. I can't trade this now. I'm banning myself. I've had my go at it. I'm banning myself. Here we go. He's going to get fucking wrecked here. Oh, here it comes. Fuck me. Here it comes. Coming. It's coming. He's caught. He's caught. Here you go. It's 25,000. Under this, you've got a chance now to wash down to 965. He's starting to get big pressure on him now where he keeps trying to absorb the tape. So as long as you stay under between sort of 17s and 27 now, you've got a chance to hold this if you took that sell where I cut it. ES into 24-hour VWAP as well. Big level on ES. Again, I'm not in anything. I had my go at it. I ate the loss. It's too aggressive versus those 20s. And I think it will probably work out now for you. It's got a chance to now work out and come down into this. And then all the way down into here as possible. It's where I think it wants to go. So if you're in this short, you can pay yourself a bit into the New York Open. But I'd be looking to pay myself. If I was you, I'd be trying to pay myself here, here, and here. Again, they let go of the shelf. They popped over the shelf. This is what I was trying to play against. This for the aggression against these sellers here. At 25, I was trying to use them to step in. Unfortunately, Mr. 35 just wanted to hang out up here and attract the market higher, and so I got stopped out on that. I was trying to use this pivot here, 17s to sort of 25, 28s for a sell. You would need it under 25,000. Big sellers coming at 25,000, still being absorbed there. And then you've got a chance to move down into these sort of 65s and below. So if you lose 25,000, you've got at least 40-point wash in this, I'd say. Maybe more, maybe 100+ point. Oh, man. Cruel game. It's a cruel game. It's a cruel game. They've not made it easy. Here you come. Here you come. Here you come. He's caught. He's caught. Aggressive selling here. You want it to move under 82s now. And then you can get moved to 60s. I'd move your stop down if you took any of this. Yeah, exactly. Location, location. But the thing is, it looks like location's bad here, right? For the sell. But the thing is it? Is it? It's not really. Like, these are bad locations for sells. These are not bad locations for sells trying to get this move. This is where I want to be a buyer from for that move back up. If we wash aggressively, I want to bid this back into here. This is what we were looking for all day. Same thing all day. So your TP's now coming up into sort of 75 to 62s. And then I try and get down into 900s if you can. Underneath previous day value area high. If you lose this, that's no acceptance of value. And you should rotate this. So TP's in here and then here. Here you go, folks. Fuck me. Sorry, guys. Well, I was right, but just positioned poorly on it. So hopefully you guys are making money. That's all that actually matters. Yeah, follow my. I have to follow my rules, right? I have to follow my rules. That's why I was short side all day today. I was not looking for longs today. I will look for longs if we can come down into this box here. I will consider longs down here. I'm a bad move. You a bad more. What do you mean I'm bad more? Here we go. So TP1 here. And then see if you can get acceptance. If you get acceptance under 44s, you're going to move down into a sub 900. Oh, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt. This is what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for. Fuck. Painful. Painful, painful, painful. So sub 44s, potentially a move down into, right down into here, 890s. Oh, God. These are the ones that are hurtful. Oh, God, you can see it. I'm itching in me. It's itching in me now. So it was the right read. I just really, if once we had all this sell side action here, I really wanted them to use this guy's pain. It's just that pop-up that ran me out, trying to use these sellers coming in and this absorber to get washed out. Here's your first move. So you've hit TPs now. Right, so you should be already up 50, 60, 70 points on this move. And then you'd want it to stay heavy now versus 25,000. You certainly wouldn't want any reclaim of 25,000 and sort of 17 to 20. But really, you just want this to stay heavy here and to keep washing. I'm just going to turn my aircon off, which has just come on. All right, you still look good. Be careful of a snapback here. All right, if you're in this short, remember the short was from up here at the 20s, these kind of breaks here. All right, even that was a good short in hindsight, but that was better. It's where I was trying to enter for this. All right, and you should be TPing here. You want to be careful of this snapback to here or here. All right, so that's why you have to pay yourself on this. This is a big wash. They can come back up to New York Open or this, and then they can attempt to resell it, and they can also reclaim. So you must pay yourself in these moves, folks. You must pay yourself on these moves. These are big moves. All right, if you took this or this down to here, it's a big move. 80 plus points. They took liquidity off at 24.9s. No, there's still some players down there. They took a little bit of it off, but they also moved some lower, mate. They moved some lower. All right, so they're coming back up for this test of sort of New York Open. There's some imbalances here. Like I said, you know, be careful of this snapback. Hopefully you've paid yourself, and then you'd want it to stay heavy and any move back towards 25,000 at this point. What level would I add, if at all? I'd be very careful about an add in this market at the moment, but if I was going to add, you would need it to stay heavy here, and you need to be aware that you've hit quite a big TP area, so you'd be looking for maybe a two-leg and failure, so it could be an add here and here for this drive if they catch enough buyers up here, right? But you want to be very careful. You don't. It depends where your core position is. You don't want to move your core position too low. You're going to get yourself caught. But ideally, you want to stay heavy at 25,000. Otherwise, it's going to come right back up to 25,017. So if you're looking for an add, Those are kind of the levels, but you want to be careful because we've held initial balance now, right? So same with ES. You'd want ES to reject basically the 80s. You want ES to reject the 80s. So far, looks pretty good for you guys. It's back to IB and VWAP. Oh, man, it's painful, man. It's painful. It's really painful. Oh, these hurt more than losses. I don't care about taking losses, but these hurt. These hurt, man. These are stingers. Called it a number of times. I did. They made it very. I'm telling you, the book made it very tricky today. But again, it's a rollover book. Like reading liquidity and order flow this week's harder than any other week. There's only 4 weeks of the year that are really hard to read order flow. This is one of them. All right, because I'm looking at the M contract. I'm not watching the H contract. I can't watch both contracts at once, and we are still split. Like there is more volume on the M contract, but there is also some on the H. If you move under IB now, we can think about an IB expansion. If you hold IB, you want to be careful of the move back to 24 hours, or back to mid, which would be right the way up here. So IB expansion, if you get the IB expansion, look at the confluence, right? If we get an IB expansion day, guess where we're going, right? Right here. This is my buy zone. So if, it's a big bloody if, but if they do the IB expansion model, this is where we're trying to trade into, and that's where I'd be covering all my position if I was short and be trying to buy it back for the drift up. If we're going to go into the IB rotation day, that's going to be a look below and fail, and they're going to come right back up into 24,045. Can this be the Tyson trade? Yeah, absolutely. Look, if it wants to hold, this will be the Tyson trade. My Ninja Trader's just gone down. And get this back online. There's a little Tradeify crash there, I think. So this move back to 25,000. Like I said, you'd need this to stay heavy if you were short from this up to, I think I said 17s. Sorry, I've lost data right now. I'm waiting for it to reload up. Okay, so 25,000. Let's see if I can get this up. Come on, Ninja, give me some data. Anyone else had that? Tradeify's just like completely offline. So you'd need 25,000 rejection here to stay heavy, really. Otherwise, they can lift all the way up to here, which would not be ideal for you guys. Yeah, 25. Otherwise, it's going to go 17. So you want 25,000 rejection. Otherwise, it's going to go 25, 17. You can call it 20. So they must stay heavy for you here. Otherwise, there's going to be a reclaim. ES retesting now, 24-hour VWAP and initial balance low. So here's 25,000, and this you need between here and 17. You've got to see buyers get trapped, and if you see that, if you're going to take a reshort here, like I said, be very careful because we're holding IB. But if they're going to take a reshort here, you better be covering into this pocket now. Not all of it, but like a majority, because you can't guarantee this move. And they can do a 2-leg up and then a failure. But this IB can come right back up to here if they want. That's the Tyson trade. So if Tyson's here, he's probably long on this pullback and he's looking to trade up into here at the moment. Okay, Ninja back online. Here we go. So you're basing around 25s now. If they hold 25s, they're going to lift to 20s or 17 to 20s. And if they don't resell that, be up. two leg. It doesn't matter what you're looking at in terms of time frame, does it? Only things that matters is the structure. So if that starts to fail, right, there'd be a sell down to here, and then they have to decide if they're doing this or a rebid. Yeah, it doesn't matter about the time frame. Right, here's the lift. So they're going to go 17s, 20s. And if they don't sell this, you're going to go 45s and you're going to get a full reversion. So they need to sell this up here. Otherwise, there'll be a full reversion to VWAP. And if they start basing at 25s, the squeeze is on. This would be an awful day. Well, it'd be a great day for Tyson, but it'd be an awful day for me if we just start. I have to watch this come all the way back. It means I banned myself from trading, so it means I don't get the trade down, I don't take the trade up. Just sit here and sulk. Am I using CIDI footprint only? Well, I use my flow zones, I use CIDI, I use Bookmap. I use everything at my disposal that helps me read order flow. They're trying to hold 25 down. If they lose 25, we're going to come back to 80s. So this is where the battle starts here. So this is the second leg, right? And now this will be the key here. So anywhere from here might offer a short down to this, which would be your cover point, right? And if they find acceptance under this, we can move lower into this, right? But you must, if you are taking a short, you must be paying yourself into here. Here you go. So see it's second leg, pull back to this pivot here. You must be paying yourself some here. And then it all depends whether they can find acceptance lower or not, because this is highly probable. This and this are both available from this pivot here. Hopefully that makes sense to you. This pullback is highly probable. What happens next all depends what they're willing to do with it. Do they want to go all the way back to VWAP or not? Do I have a rule of thumb about how many losing trades? Yeah, 3. I won't take more than 3. And I won't have more than, that doesn't include break-evens, but I won't have more than 3 goes at the same trade. And I felt like today I was probably had a few goes at this. It might not felt like the same trade, but I think I might have had a go here, here, and here. So I had a few goes at this positioning. All right, trying to get this move, which is why when it eventually did it without me, I just have to eat it and just be like, all right, mate, you're not quite. You can see it, but you're not quite in tune. Right? It's like I don't know what it's like putting that like a sportsman when you're in good form, but you just have a day where your touch is just slightly off, right? It's just slightly off. Like you can see it, but you know what you want to do, but you're not doing as well as you should. So why put risk on? All right, so here you go. So covering a little piece here, if you took this short from sort of 25 to 17, like we said, it would need to fail somewhere in here. You need to cover some here because if they want to rebid it, they will. And if they fail under here, this is where you get the move right down into this. All right, so you've paid yourself here no matter what. And if they move down into here, you get fantastic trade. And if they don't, doesn't matter, does it? Because you've paid yourself. Can someone explain the Tyson trade? It's very, very simple, guys. It is a failed auction underneath of the initial balance, which then reclaims for a move back to VWAP or back to the 50%. That's the Tyson trade. This is what Tyson's in. And if you're all Googling Tyson trades, you're not going to find it, all right? It's just an IB to VWAP trade, all right? It's called the Tyson trade because Tyson's a student of mine and his name is Tyson. And this is the trade that we forced him to only do, right? So he only trades this trade, or for a long time he only traded this trade. That's why I call it the Tyson trade. It's not one extreme to the next. It's one extreme to the mid to VWAP. It's definitely not IB to IB. It's IB to VWAP. You just Googled it. Yeah, it won't come up if you Google it, folks. Why did I look for the breakdown instead of the retest? Just because of the momentum that joined the tape in here at that time. once they'd, where is it? Once they'd resold up here, okay, and I'd seen absorption taking place at 20s. It felt like he was going to let go, like he was trying so hard to absorb. And we have these sellers here, so I just felt like, okay, well, next pop into 20s, I'm going to try and sell with these guys, and then got stopped out on the like wick above into 30s, all right, because I put my stop at here at 28, I think it was. So I was trying to position myself between 20s and 24, somewhere in here, all right, for that move. So it was a return back in, but it wasn't a return back in up here. I didn't want to see it come that high. You're in the Tyson trade on SPY. I don't know how you can be in the Tyson trade and SPY when you haven't reclaimed initial balance yet. You're under initial balance. So there's no reclaim there. So there's no, you would be looking for the expansion model on SPY right now, not the model up. There's no reclaim on SPY. There's no reclaim of ES. If anything, you are seeing a strong rejection on 5-minute candles versus the initial balance on ES and SPY right now. Well, it's not even a bad entry. There's no setup there. You're front running. You're hoping it reclaim. You haven't waited for a reclaim. You're just hoping. So just understand that, right? It's a good rejection of those 17s there, wasn't it? Like this move here. 15s, almost got to 17s. It's a good, decent rejection so far. And you just need to see if they're willing to roll over or if these just keep. The longer they're here, this move and this move will build out liquidity for it again. Flat for me, 7 minutes left. Missed this trade, is what it is. Is what it is. Trump's live, is he really? Plunge protection, Donald, is it? Is he actually live? Or are you just saying that? Oh, he is. Oh, good. Look, we don't need any help escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Oh, that's funny. Yesterday you begged for help. Oh, I find it hard to like even listen to him. Yeah, I see him. He's with the. Is it with Ireland? We don't need help. I'll be here for like an hour tomorrow. So he's talking about Iran would have had a nuke if they didn't invade. We're still soaking this pivot, right? Isn't that hypocritical? He's just gone at Biden for supporting Ukraine in a war, but then is going at the EU for not supporting him in his war. Isn't that a bit mega hypocrisy there? Is that just me? Sounds like hypocrisy to me. Would I support Conor McGregor as Prime Minister? First of all, I'm not Irish. Second of all, no. Do you want to support someone who goes on coke benders, beating up old men at bars as your prime minister? Do you really want that as the prime minister? You really setting a good example there. I don't think so. Can you imagine it in court? You say nothing. Nothing. Nah, mate. You can't have that. He's your idol. Well, you can be your idol all you want. Maybe you want to fight like him or have some businesses like him, but I don't think you want him as your prime minister, do you? Oh, I'm not running for PM. No chance, mate. IB absorbing. Well, we're above IB, and ES is not above IB. I don't think there's anything happening right now. You're at the New York Open. Nothing's changed, folks. Look, you're just at the New York Open. Here's the Open. This was your opening print. That's your IB low and your opening range low. That's your opening range high. That's your IB high. We trap buyers up here. We move lower. We took this trade short together on stream. They bid back up to this level. I can't remember if we took a short somewhere around here or here, and then I tried one more there and fluffed it for this move back down. You're still rejecting here to move lower right now. In my mind, until ES reclaims and until you reclaim all of this, yes, there's an IB trade to here, and maybe it gets up there. But at the moment, right, buyers will have to defend 80s, and if they fail to defend 80s and get back into 20s and VWAP, you will get a rotation lower, right? This is the target today, I think. This is where I want to be a buyer, definitely. Prime position to sell was here, which is where we sold. Probably maybe should have attacked that on a... I mean, I can look at that. Maybe I should have resold that. But at the time then, it felt like they were just going to clean out highs. Again, ES weak. If we look at ES, it's rejecting IB. Gap fills down here. I don't know if it wants to do it, but it's there if it wants it. Right, have they sorted out these options yet? Back towards these 80s. The dotted green line that IV keep talking about, is that your own indicator? Dotted green line. This is VWAP, mate. That's VWAP. This is initial balance. Purple is the initial balance, which is part of my indicator, yes. But you can just draw it on your screen. You just do a horizontal line. Here we go. So back to the 80s. So if you're still seller here, if we start washing here, and we go in the expansion model, remember the 161 and the 1.5 will take you down into here, which would be Globex and gap fill and point of control. This is where I would want to see the market today, personally. And I think there's a rebid opportunity off that. Slower day, man. Much slower day. How come Apex doesn't have a manual lockout on Tradeify? I don't know. I didn't know that it didn't. I don't trade on Tradeify. Here we go. So back down to this key level. If you start losing this, like I said, there is a chance all the way down here today. If they go in the expansion mode, especially with this guy ranting. I use affordable indicators, trade copier, mate. Yeah, Lucid's great. I love Lucid. They've got a deal on at the moment, I think. It's like buy 3. I saw it this morning. Like if you buy 3 pro accounts, I think it's pro accounts, you get a reset free or something. Bookmap setting video should be out tomorrow, hopefully, or Thursday. It's only a short one. It's just to go over my settings. I don't teach you how to use it, but I teach you my settings in that. Here comes VWAP and initial balance low again. So they're retesting. ES getting close to breaking down here. Would I be interested in reshort 25? I mean, that was the opportunity. It was just there. Like I said, we talked about it. You're acting like we didn't talk about it. That was the reshort opportunity, 2 leg. And I said you'd have to cover some into 80s and then hold your runners to see if you get down into here. We've already done that move. It's gone. There's the second leg. It's gone. There's your cover. Now it's about, do they find acceptance into here? That's all there is now. Why Lucid Pro over Lucid Flex? That's just what the offer was, I think, mate. I don't know. You have to ask the guys that make Lucid. Okay, guys, it's the last thing I'll say. Initial balance. There's videos on my YouTube. You guys are asking so many questions that you could Google or watch a video on my YouTube for free. All these things. So initial balance is your high and your low between 9:30 and 10:30. All right, 9:30 and 10:30. So much free information on my YouTube, like a whole video on the initial balance and what it is. Okay, so bidding off initial balance again so far. So I'd say now sellers will want to hold it at 86s. They won't want it above, or you can call it 90s. They won't want it above 90s if they're going to complete a rotation lower. Above 90s, you're probably done with this sell side. Here comes the move to 90s that we just talked about, and they will need to resell this. If they don't resell this, trade's finished for the day, I would say. Your downside move. Good rejection in 90s. You'd need to see a new lower day now if you're looking for the downside move. There's the rejection in 90s we just talked about. They need to sell 90s, give you the exact level. You need to see follow through for a lower day now. If you don't see that, I'd be somewhat concerned that they stay here for too long. You should see a low of day clean out, really. They've done a lot of hard work here. If they don't do that, then you're going to go right back to 25,000 and then you go right back into range because values move lower. Try and give this, I don't know, a couple more minutes to stay with you and then I'm going to get out of here. I would like to give a course away today. We haven't even got to 1,000 likes, so no Apex giveaway today. But if we get to 1,000 likes, we'll do a course giveaway at least. Still under 90s. Here come the sellers. So they're trying to step on the gas to get you a new low of day. Here come the sellers. They're trying to walk down all the way down to 50 now to force you down lower. And previous day value area high is 43s. And I think you want to get down into here if possible. So if any of you are still short, you look okay. 670s SPY, very key as well. Here you go, folks. So here's the new low of day coming. There you go. So they finally did it. They walked it right down. So here's your previous day value area high. So if you haven't taken one, you could take one off here. And then you're looking for this breakdown here now. All right. This is what we're talking about. So they tried to sell value area high from yesterday there. Some absorption there. Again, 90s is your pivot. Am I watching you make money? Yeah, well, I'm not trading. Like I said, I'm done. Sticking to my rules. Listening to Trump a little bit, to be honest. We'll be leaving in the near future. What does that mean? Oh my God. All right, we'll take the aircraft carriers away then, mate. This guy's hilarious. All right, that's it. I can't listen. I can't listen to this guy contradict himself anymore. What a clown. All right, folks. We're done. There's nothing else here, really, unless you're still sitting in that short. You're into lunchtime. They've just held previous day value area high from yesterday. The only thing really now is if they maintain, if they keep looking for acceptance lower, and really you'd want 90s to stay heavy, certainly 25,000, and you need it to get underneath previous day value area high for acceptance into previous day value area low and previous day point of control. We're not finding that. They've just bid straight back off it, reclaimed initial balance, and trading sideways in a new range. We will build out liquidity here for a while over lunch. If they find acceptance above this, they're going to go VWAP. Below previous day, they go here. In here, range and rotation over and over and over and over and over again. I don't know. They're all saying course because they think we're going to do a giveaway. But the problem is we didn't get to 1,000 likes. So there's no giveaway. It's very basic. Each day we need to get 1,000 likes. Did we get there now? We did. Okay. Okay, let's do it then. All right, just type it once, folks. Please don't like spam. Just type it once. And I'd say if you start basing over 25,000, 25,020 now, you will see that squeeze right the way back up to here. So if they do one of these now, this becomes available up into here. This is key. This level, New York Open, is key. Okay, we got a winner here. Let's pull this winner. Anyone who spammed, you got pulled already. Sorry, guys. I did warn you. So many of you spamming in here. All right, winner is Fong Tactical. Fong Tactical. Are you here, Fong Tactical? Let me know you're here. You did. You won. Okay. Just email me, please. info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged in. I'm just making a note of your name here for the free course. And then if you do that and email me, I'm going to sort you out with an introduction course as soon as we get off stream. All right. Congrats, everyone. All right. So what I'd be looking for the rest of the day, it's very simple. If you stay heavy versus value, all right, if we build out liquidity here and they lose IB, and they lose previous day value, they will attempt to trade back down to previous day point of control and value area low. That was probably going to be a bid opportunity here or here for the bid back up. All right. If you reclaim this, there'll be a squeeze back into New York VWAP point of control. Those are your levels. All right. This is your range being built out over lunch. How we operate in this range is what matters. For me personally, I'd be slightly more thinking about this move down to here. I won't be trading the rest of the day, but I'd be looking for that move, and then I'd be looking for a buy back up. This is available. It's just not something I would trade based on how many buyers got stuck up there, but it's available. We cannot deny it's available. All right, folks. I don't know if it's 100 up or 100 down. I don't think it's that much. 25, it'd be like acceptance over 25, 20s, 25,000 for a move to 40. So that's like 30, 40 points and then 60s. I don't know if you're going to have the power to get up there. It'd be more like a rotational day back to mean, all right, or an acceptance back to overnight levels. That's what I'd be looking at. Okay, folks, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Remember, tomorrow will be a short stream, much shorter stream tomorrow. I've got to get to the airport. But I will chat with you all then. Those in Discord, I'll pop in the afternoon, make sure you're all doing okay. But yeah, not too much edge here. And we'll see what we get tomorrow. All right, peace and love, everyone. Use hard stops. Be kind to each other.